Well, happy Friday. Just kidding. Happy Thursday, everyone. Which, you know what that means? Another live lawn care Q&A. It's a special Thursday edition of the live stream. I have something going on tomorrow, an engagement that I really can't get out of. So I figured instead of skipping, we'll do it Thursday night. So a Friday night live stream on Thursday night. If this is the first time you guys have ever joined the live stream, welcome. Super happy to have you here. The way this works, really simple. On your screen, you will see a chat box. In that chat box, you enter your question, concern, comment of the day, and I work through them in the order they come in. Sometimes I have the answer, sometimes I do not, but either way, we have an awesome time talking about lawn care. So hopefully everyone's doing well tonight. If you're in the Southeast, if you're in Georgia, you guys are likely getting a break in all the rainfall. It finally stopped raining this afternoon. So literally before the show, got out there and mowed the lawn. It doesn't look its absolute best. I had to double cut it. Alex is still out there mowing right now as we speak. So it's just one of those, it's been one of those weeks, man. We've been praying for rainfall and we got a ton of it just, several days in a row. So good times. Let's see what we have in the live stream tonight, guys. As always, we're coming to you guys live on YouTube, Facebook, no Twitter tonight, and of course, the folks on the gram. So if you guys are, you want to be part of the stream, feel free to drop in and say hi. Yeah, it's Thursday night, so I figure instead of skipping the live stream tomorrow night, we're gonna do it tonight, right? All right, so let's see what we have in the show this evening. We got Mr. Mark Romano checking in from Hawaii. He says, "Go green, everyone." What's going on, Mark? Hopefully you're doing well, sir. Thanks for coming to hang out this evening. Next up, we got Mr. Cedric G. Cedric G in the house. He says, "Big Ron, I plan on top dressing this season. Currently, my lawn is at 3/4 of an inch. Do you recommend I scalp my lawn again before I top dress? I scalp when the season started." So, I mean, yes and no, Cedric. Is it strictly necessary, given that you're 3/4 of an inch, to scalp your lawn before you top dress? No. But if you've been real mowing it and it's starting to get a little bit thick and you have no way of thinning that out, like by verticutting, now's a good time to do that, right? The lawn's gonna be covered up in sand anyway. So if it looks a little bit ugly, if there's a little bit of discoloration, no one's gonna see it. So if it were me, I would take this time to do a high to cut reset, take it down to 1/2 inch thereabouts, and then do your top dressing work. And that should be great. I mean, it'll make the top dressing a little bit easier. And when the grass grows through, you'll have, fresh, you have a nicely thinned out lawn. So you're not gonna have the cutting problems that can come from a real mowed lawn that doesn't get a thinning out at some point during the season. So yeah, if it were me, I would, especially if you don't have a way to verticut the lawn. If you don't have a way to verticut it, absolutely give it a little scalp. It won't hurt anything. Although 3/4 of an inch is a good cutting height. I'm sure the lawn looks really good there. All right, so Cedric, I see you also dropped a super chat, sir. You're getting us started tonight. Let me get you up here.
Super chat received.
He says, "Big Ron, super chat is open on Thursdays too. Turfs up, vert down, stripe action forever." Thank you so much, sir. And for that, you are now the show sponsor. Your name in lights for whatever that means to you. Hopefully the weather has treated you guys well. Cedric, hopefully you're doing well. And next up, we got Mr. Mark James in the live stream. He says, Spotted Spurge and POA seem to always get the best of me here in South Dallas. Yeah, I mean, POA should be dying off this time of year, Mark. I mean, it's starting to get hot, so POA should not be happy this time of year. Spurge, on the other hand, I get. Spurge is likely living his best life this time of year, and Spurge is one of those weeds that mowing lower does not really change the situation. If you mow it like an inch, Spurge will grow at an inch. You go three-quarters of an inch, it'll grow there. You go at half an inch, it'll grow there. So it's a really, how can we say this? It's a really pesky weed. It's a tough one to get rid of. It does not give up. It does not give up. So, depending on how badly you want to get rid of them, I can tell you what some options you have for doing that. For Spurge, if you have warm season grass, which I imagine you would in Dallas, what I would recommend is Celsius. Even Celsius at the medium rate. For Spurge, you don't even have to go high rate. Celsius at the medium rate will absolutely take out Spurge for best results. Mix a little bit of spreader sticker, a little bit of surfactant along with it. So this combination will take care of the Spurge. The POA should die off, to be completely honest, with the temperatures where they are now. But if you want to get rid of them, if you want to take care of the POA that you have in your lawn and also be covered for all sedges, then you can go with Certainty. So for POA, this. For broadleaf, Spurge included, you can go with this. And really all three of these, if I can do this, see if I can hold all three, we'll see. All three of these can be mixed together. As a matter of fact, I've heard a rumor that if you go to the golf course lawn store and you look at the product description for any one of those three, I've heard that in that product description, there's a video that shows how a YouTuber, these guys on YouTube now, a YouTuber likes to mix all these together. So as far as just seeing what's involved in mixing Celsius, Certainty, and surfactant, you can check that out. Yes, but that's what I would use as far as a concoction to get rid of Spurge and POA. If you want to actually spray the POA out, especially this time of year as temperatures are getting warmer, you want to minimize the chance of discoloring your lawn. That is what I would go with, Celsius and Certainty. If you want to see what I'm talking about, again, if you go to the golf course lawn store, go to shop, and then go to our carefully curated weed killer section. If you look at Celsius and you scroll down, you will see the video I'm talking about right here, talking about how to kill weeds, but not your grass, right? Which is what everyone wants. So this for your broadleaves, again, Spurge being listed there, and then Certainty rather, for really Certainty shines for sedge control. So really for sedges, but also for POA as well. So POA, dandelions, Kalinga, anything in the sedge family, Certainty will absolutely take care of. And the nice thing about both of these is you can spray them both as temperatures get warmer with far less chance of discoloring your grass. And I would add a little surfactant in there to get the best result when using this combination. If you want to save a little bit of money and a little bit of time, you can go with the kit that we have, the Celsius Certainty Herbicide Kit. We get great reviews. I get email at least a couple times a week from people raving about how good a job this combination does cleaning up the weeds in their lawn without damaging their grass. So you can go a la carte, or you can just get the kit, and that'll give you everything. You'll be all squared away for taking care of weeds in your warm season turf. Sorry you're dealing with that, but there is a way forward. All right, so let's see what we have here on the gram. I want to make sure I acknowledge you guys as well. Shauna is chiming in. What's going on, Shauna? Hopefully you're doing well. Patrick as well. Shauna is saying, I question myself if it was Friday. And then Patrick says, same. Yeah, guys, I'm just here tonight because I don't want to miss the show. I really don't want a week to go by and not do the live stream. So it's either I do it tonight or it doesn't happen this week. And I think you guys would agree that doing it tonight is a better option, right? All right, so we have a question here from Mango Stumpy. He says, Thursday night long talk. What up, Ron? Going on a date tomorrow or what? Yeah, so tomorrow night I'm going to be doing a training. It's going to be karate related. You guys know when I missed the live stream. Pretty much that's what it's for. So there's a couple events throughout the year. There's a spring tournament, and there's a spring tournament and black belt test. There's a fall tournament. There's a fall clinic and black belt test. And in the summertime, this time of year, there is a black belt camp. So for candidates that are looking or setting the goal of testing the black belt, yet you're required in our style to go through a camp. And where, we'll sometimes have a visiting instructor come in and they will work with the candidates and refine their techniques. There's the phrase in Korean is runma, to polish, so to polish them up, get them ready for the next step to test for black belt. And this year, I get the privilege of being one of the instructors that helps to work. They get to work with the candidates, which is kind of cool. I feel privileged to be able to do that. So I definitely can't miss it. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm gonna be doing tomorrow night. I have a date, but it's a date in sweat and push-ups and everything else that goes in martial arts. All right, Shauna says, I scout my lawn my side yard today. I know it will be green again, but dang. Yeah, so this time of year, here's the thing, with all the rain we've had, Shauna, you kind of gave me a nice segue into my talking point. With all the rain we've had, it's been tough to get out and mow this week. So it's been 3 days, 3.5 days, almost 4 days, 3.5, almost 4 days since I've mowed, which for me is a long time. So you're going to get some excess growth with that. So some questions, I've already been getting emails from folks saying, hey, it's starting to rain it's been raining like crazy. I haven't been able to get out and mow. What do I do once I'm able to get out and mow the lawn to get my height cut back down to where it needs to be? Should I take it down in steps? Like, should I take it down over several mows, or should I take it down in just one cut? The answer is either way will work. Either strategy works fine. If you want to minimize discoloration, what you can do is, one, wait for it to stop raining, let the lawn dry out, let the ground firm up a little bit, so the mower will not gonna sink and move around on a mushy surface, and then mow it over the course of a week or so. Like, you can start a little bit higher and then work your height to cut down. That is one method that will work, and it's going to minimize the discoloration in your lawn. What I did this afternoon was not that, because I'm gonna, I'm not gonna have time to mow tomorrow, and I want to get the lawn back where it is. I don't really care if it looks a little bit ugly for a day or so, for the next couple of days, until the areas that got a little bit of a light scalp recover. So it depends. If you're a Band-Aid off quick kind of person, you can just take your current height of cut and cut the lawn there, realizing that you are going to get a little bit of discoloration. If you're someone that doesn't want to have the lawn look ugly, you can take it down over several steps. The one thing I would say is, if you are going to do it like how I did it, all in one go, catch your clippings. Or if you have a rotary mower, bag your clippings, because you don't want to throw all that debris into the lawn. So I'll show you guys, I'll give you guys a little timeline. You guys can actually see what my lawn looks like, and you can decide whether that's for you. So this is how things started out this week, and pretty much how it progressed all of this week until a couple of hours ago. So that's what it was like. It rained and rained and rained some more and kept raining, and then the lake formed, right? And the result of the lake, if you don't want to see it on video, is that. So that's what I dealt with. After it stopped raining, it looked like that. Obviously, I'm crazy, you guys. I love to mow my lawn, but even I knows my limitations. Is it Clint Eastwood said that? A man's got knows limitations. So even I know the real mower is not going to work through that. So I had to wait for it to drain. By the time it drained, when I took that picture, it was dark. It was in the evening. So the nice thing about the lawn is that it drains very quickly. A couple of hours, once the rain stops, that completely goes away. So after that, today, once it stopped mowing, it stopped raining. I let the lawn sit for like maybe 30 minutes, and then I got the outlet out there, and this is what it looks like after cutting it. I double cut it, so it's 2 passes lengthwise, and the way you see the stripes are most dominant. This is after I've mowed the lawn. So this is what it looks like right now after being cut at the same height. There are a lot more clippings than usual came off. And for a still of it, there it is. Same, that's the lawn. If you look really close, you can see a few small areas, a little bit of yellow here and there. Because I did quite a bit came off, even though I'm using Primo, because it's been hot and it's been raining, and the lawn has been mowed in almost 4 days, which for me is a lot. And especially when you're cutting it at 7/10, 0.70, it doesn't take very much for it to begin to get out of hand. So I double cut it. And I'm just going to take, if I get a little bit more discoloration, so be it. But the big thing again is, if you are going to do that, bag your clippings. Even if you're starting high and you're working your way down, I would still catch your clippings, because you don't want to throw all that stuff, all that accumulated growth into the lawn. Part of why it doesn't look like Hades right now is because I did catch all the clippings. And I'll tell you, here's the thing. Normally, here's how much clippings come off the lawn. You guys are looking at this, right? And you're saying, oh, that looks pretty good. It's not too bad. No, that's not the front. Let me go back to the back. You're looking at this saying, it doesn't look too bad, right? Normally when I mow the entire back lawn, I get about a halfway full of one of the catchers, the grass bins that the outlet has. So one of those gets about halfway full. Today, and that little halfway full catcher will do about I don't know, if you take like one of those trash cans, maybe, I don't know, not even an eighth, like a fifth, 20% maybe of that trash can, maybe even less than that. It's maybe like 15% of the trash can. After the double cut today, the trash cans that you guys see there in the background on the porch, the ones right here. If you guys look there on the patio, you'll see that those big the tan colored trash cans. It's like over halfway full from one double cut of the entire lawn, the front lawn and the back lawn. So a lot more clippings came up, accumulated when you combine a ton of rainfall and heat, and then not mowing. So Primo definitely did help out, because if I didn't have Primo down, it'd be even worse. But yeah, so I'm sure a lot of you guys are going to be dealing with that. I've gotten emails about it already, about how to recover from, not being able to mow for several days, and you've got a couple of different options. Getting growth regulator on your lawn will help in situations just like this. So if you're considering, bringing some Primo into your life, I highly, highly recommend it. Another thing too, with all the rainfall we have, if you've gotten your fungicide down already, good job. If you've not gotten your fungicide down, it's still something that you want to consider doing, because with all that rainfall, especially if you have a lawn that is not where you have some thatch in it, you're not like turf raking, you're not doing ways to manage the thatch levels in the lawn. All that moisture that's sitting on the lawn with all the hot temps we have, it's a perfect breeding ground that if your lawn is susceptible to lawn disease, that it will begin to manifest itself. So, getting a fungicide down, if you've not done one, would be a good idea. It's cheap insurance compared to the problems you can have if you don't do that. So, all right, so we have a question here from the gram. One from Heath the Beast says, just getting into PGR on my North Georgia Bermuda. Can you still spot level some areas? You can. Yeah, you can absolutely spot level some areas, even if you have growth regulator on the lawn. Just realize that it's going to take a little bit longer to grow in. There's no problem with doing that. It's just going to take a bit longer. Something that I want to show you guys on the topic of growth regulator. So some questions I got. I'll show you guys actually on the blog. So the questions that I got is around PGR and around doing the split applications, right? So we have the blog post that talks about how plant growth regulator greener, talks about the benefits of PGR, but something I added here this week is the split application rates for Primo Max, because before there was just a section that talked about how to avoid tip burn and explained like how you would go about, applying growth regulator if you wanted to avoid that. But then someone said, hey, it'd be really cool if you also included the application rates for doing split applications. So for the most common grass types, I took the Primo rates, divided them by 2, just to cut it in half. It's not really hard math. And I've got them here listed now. So for cool season grass, you've got your fescue rates, KBG rates, and ryegrass rates. For Bahia, common, hybrid, buffalo grass, zoysia, and St. Augustine grass, and centipede grass, you've also got your half rates as well. So if you're going to be spraying Primo on the 1st and the 15th, you can consult this. I've done the math for you, so you know what rate to use whenever you're looking at your bottle, right? Whenever you're looking at the handy dandy measuring cup that's built into the Primo bottle, you can look at this and then say, oh, I've got Bahia grass, so my half rate is going to be half an ounce, or I've got centipede grass, or in that case, I'm going to be going at 0.25, right? 0.25 ounces. So then you can break out 2.3 right there, and that is what you would measure out. So hope you guys find some value out of that. I'll actually throw it here in the chat for you just in case. But yeah, I got some questions about that, and I said, you know what? How can I make this even better? How can I make it even more useful for you guys? And so I did. So PGR split app rates. There we go, app rates, and there are that in that blog post. And not to be left out, you guys on the gram, you guys are covered as well there too. So I hope that helps as well. As far as the question about getting into PGR. All right, next up we have Mr. Kevin D. Jones. He says, my Friday is now ruined. Ron, you messed up my routine. So carbon kit tomorrow versus Saturday. I'm sorry, Kevin. I didn't mean for that to happen. But I figured you guys wanted to have the live stream, so I did it tonight instead of tomorrow. You know what I mean? So sorry. You can always rewatch it. You can rewatch it. You can have. How about this? You can put it on in the background. You can have your ears in. You can have it play in the background while you spray the carbon kit. How about that? That's an option. That can absolutely work. That can absolutely work. All right, next up we have, let's see here. Next up, we got Phyllis Lawrence. Phyllis is up next. She says, hi, Ron. Happy Thursday. Looking forward to another great show. Thumbs up, my fellow lawn enthusiasts. Thank you so much, Phyllis. I really do appreciate it. Thank you for all the love and support, even on a Thursday night. Guys, I apologize for, breaking the routine. I know how you guys are. Y'all are like creatures of habit. Y'all probably have, your plans. You got your cocktails, everything planned out for the Friday nights. And I promise next week we will be back to our normally scheduled programming. But for this week, it's going to be Thursday, so we can have the show. All right, Kevin D says, LOL, Ron, we appreciate you. Hopefully a full house tonight. We'll see. We're at 100 folks in here so far. That's pretty good. That's pretty good for a Thursday night, especially given that many people probably didn't realize that it was going to be tonight, even though I said it several times over the course of June. But we'll make it work, right? We'll make it work. All right, Madam Behind says, what's up? Say hi. What's going on? Hope you're doing well. The next up, we got Robert Rainey in the house. He says, oh, I see what you did here. Snuck in a Thursday night live on us. I did, Robert, because it's either that or no live stream, right? So there is that. So I wanted to get that in. Jackie Bear's up next, says, Brother Ron, what's going on, man? Hope you're doing well, Jackie. Thanks for coming to hang out. And Jason Harrison leading the smash the like button charge, saying, happy lawn care gang, happy soggy Thursday. No joke, man. Smash that thumbs up ever so gently. If you guys are enjoying the show, definitely hit that like button. Doesn't cost anything to do. It's a free way to support the algorithms. Free way to support us here on YouTube. Free way to support us. All right, next up is Phyllis. She says, I'm roasting here in Texas. Yeah, not here in Georgia. It's actually pleasant. I mean, the weather's this summer has not been bad. It's not been unseasonably hot. It's been relatively pleasant as far as temperatures go. And we've had quite a bit of rainfall as well too. So overall, the lawn has been doing well. Jackie Bear's up next. He says, let's have an excellent live, gentlemen. Let's definitely do that. Let's do our best, right? And then, next up is Doug 350Z with a twin turbo package. He says, evening, Ron and everyone. I'm loving this rain. It's raining daily since Tuesday. Got my lime down, RGS, foreplay, etc. That's the thing, man. If you were thinking about putting any kind of granular app down, like this week would have been the time to do it. You're talking about like free watering in, tough to beat. Tough to beat this week. Yeah, plenty of free rainfall. And really outside of that one day when when I showed you guys this video, which I think this was Tuesday, when it did that, the rainfall has been constant. Outside of Tuesday has been constant, but relatively light. So enough to where if you would put a product down, it would water it in well, but not so much where it would form lakes in the back lawn outside of Tuesdays. From Tuesday going forward, it rained the entire time, but it wasn't crazy bad like Tuesday. So yeah, good job, Doug, getting your foreplay down, your RGS, your lime. Good stuff. Great timing, and I'm sure your lawn will love you for it. So good job getting that done. All right, next up we have Phyllis. She says, at Cedric, thumbs up. And then Patrick Gates is up, says, what's up, Ron John? Do it big. Only way to do it, man. It's the only way to do it, right? You got to do it big. Got to do it. No, guys, because I knew that tonight is going to be when we're doing the live stream, and normally on Friday nights, I talk to you guys about the new blog post this week. So rush to get it done and to get it published this week. So it's live as of today. And it's apropos because it's around the topic of identifying and preventing lawn diseases, a complete guide. So where can you find it? So if you were to go to the Golf Course Lawn Store, go to resources, go to knowledge base, and I'm going to send you guys a link directly to this, so you don't have to follow this if you don't want to. I'm telling you where it is. So under the knowledge base, a newly added article on complete guide on identifying, fighting, and preventing all three lawn diseases, all three of them. So if you hit that, it will take you here, and what it's going to do is going to talk about several options. So it talks about like what are lawn diseases, Where do they come from? What are the problems or things that can lead to lawn diseases in your lawn? Compacted soil, mowing practices, excessive fertilizer, like too much fertilizer, not enough fertilizer, weather conditions, and then it goes through several. So you got like brown patch, dollar spot, red thread. I wanted to just focus on the ones that were most common. Rust. I got an email about rust this week already. Snow mold, Pythium blight. I've dealt with this before on my front lawn. Not a fun one. Leaf spot, necrotic ring. A neighbor fights that in their lawn. Powdery mildew. So a lot of the common ones, and then gives you some options as far as fungicides. So you've got Caravan for a combination product. You got Headway and a granular, and then what's quickly becoming my new favorite is Pillar SC. I really like this. I use this year, and the big thing I like about Pillar is that it's super easy to apply. There's only one application rate. Whether you're doing it as preventative or curative, one rate. 1 ounce per 1,000 square feet. Doesn't get any easier than that. So I will link this for you guys. It's actually the pinned comment in the show right now. And if you guys are watching this after the fact, I will also make this the pinned comment, the sticky comment at the end of the show once the live stream is over. So check it out. Let me know what you guys think about it. If there's someone I missed or someone you want coverage of, let me know and we can look to add that. And hopefully you guys get as much value out of it and enjoy it as much as I had putting it together. There was a lot of fun on that one, a lot of research, and it's a cool one. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. So lawn disease blog. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do it here because that way anyone on Facebook can also see it as well. Lawn diseases blog post. Yeah, boom. Nice. Nicely done. All right. With that out of the way, you guys know about what the new stuff is. Let's now move on to our next question and or comment. All right, we got Ray Antonio up next. He says, waiting for Carolina top dressing to get me sanded here in upstate South Carolina, hopefully next week. Nice, sounds like fun. Any suggestions for the lawn before it's done? So I don't know what that service is doing. Like, I mean, are they going to be doing an aeration in addition to the top dressing? Prior to the top dressing? The services. I mean, what I like, Ray. I'll tell you how I like to do top dressing, and you can ask them if they're going to be doing this or not, and then this will give you a plan of action. Of things you can do in preparation for that. So I like to aerate the lawn first, so core aerate lawn, actually like mechanical aeration, none of this liquid aeration stuff, like actual knocking, pulling cores out of the lawn, and then getting down your granular biostimulant or fertilizer of choice. So I like to use Essential G. I can actually show you here. So this is my concoction for top dressing. If we go to lawn fertilizer section, we'll do this first. We'll go to Mary Green Biostimulants. So I will first aerate the lawn, and then I'll put Essential G down. This will go down, and I'll do a heavy application because you think about it, the lawn is opened up, the soil is opened up. So as far as any products that need to get down into the soil to be able to work, this is a great time to do that because you're able to fast track them into the soil because there's voids opened up all throughout the lawn. So I will first lead off with Essential G, heavy application of that, and then I will use my granular fertilizer of choice. So depending on what your soil tests say, you can go with the complete if your lawn needs phosphorus. But what I typically use is Humic Max. It's a 1608, great fertilizer. It's mostly quick release. So as far as helping the lawn bounce back from top dressing a bit faster, it's a great product for that. And that really makes up what I do as far as the prep work. So core aerate, apply a granular biostimulant, Essential G is what I use, and then a granular fertilizer of your choosing. I use Humic Max. So that is what I would do in preparation of them coming to top dress. And that assumes that all they're going to come do is just put sand down on your lawn. Like if they're just coming in and all they're going to do is just bring a bunch of sand and just going to spread the sand and drag it in, then I would aerate it yourself, a couple days before and do all the stuff I'm talking about. Like you don't have to do this the day of top dressing. You can do it a few days before. There's no issue with that at all. If they are going to core aerate the lawn as part of it, you can have this stuff ready to go, and you can ask them if they'll give you 10 minutes, 15 minutes to run around the lawn and put it down, or they might put it down for you. So it just depends on what the service entails. Some services also include a fertilizer, some do not. So depending on what they include and what they don't include in their top dressing determines on how much you will do. Regardless of whether they include a fertilizer or not, I would still get a granular biostimulant down if you can. If they'll allow you to do that, if you got time to run out there and do it, it's a good thing to do. You know, it's a great thing to do in your as far as your prep process. And if you're interested in that, here is where you can find the fertilizer. So at Ray Antonio, nice. This is where you can find the fertilizer, and this is where you can get Essential G. So you're going to be all covered as far as that go. You know, dude, here's the thing, Ray, I gotta tell you, there's no shame in your game. I have done top dressing manually several times. I've done it more times myself than paid for service to do it. And there's nothing wrong with paying someone to do it, because it's one of those things that it's a lot of work. And it's you know, it's nice to be able to sit back with a lemonade or whatever your beverage of choice happens to be and watch someone else do it. Of course, you're gonna look at it and you're like, oh man, they went too heavy. Oh, they didn't go heavy enough there. It could be a little bit better. You know, you're gonna critique it, obviously, but you're not doing the work. So that's always a big plus, a big bonus to paying a service to do it, right? And in addition to that, if you can't get enough of top dressing, I think we've got a blog on that topic. I'm pretty sure we do. So if you go to the resource section of the Golf Course Lawn Store, go to blog, and then I believe it's on page 2. Yeah, right here. How to top dress your lawn, a complete guide. In here talks all about top dressing, what to look for when you top dress, what kind of mix you need to use, tools you'll need, the preparation. Here's where it talks about core aeration, and you see Humic Max is making its presence there. Talks about technique, all this stuff. In addition to telling you the products, I'm going to send you this as well, just in case, so you can know what to expect. So that way you are all covered now as far as top dressing. You got reading material, you know the products to use, and you're good to go. Keep us posted, man. The only thing I'll say, you know what's coming next, is take pictures of your lawn before, during, and afterwards, because it's never going to look the way it looks now again after they're done top dressing this. You want to be able to see how far you've come. So I would say take pictures, because it's a cool thing, and you want to be able to look back and just see how the lawn has developed over the years. All right, next up is Robert Gunby. He says, what grass seed do you recommend for Middle Georgia? I got 3.5 acres to plant. Wow. So I guess you're talking about Bermuda. I guess you're talking about Bermuda grass seed. So, I mean, you can use Monaco. You can use Yukon. Those are ones that people seem to like quite a bit, Robert. The thing you got to keep in mind, though, is if I had a time machine, if I could Thanos snap and could have done it all over, what I would have said is have your grass seed down like earlier this week, this past weekend, because all the rainfall we got this week, it would have been good to help keep it moist and help with germination. The biggest challenge you're going to have with 3.5 acres is not so much the grass seed that you choose. It's going to be watering it, right? Because the biggest reason why most seeding projects fail, especially when you're talking about grass seed that is not easy to grow. If you're talking about fescue is pretty easy to germinate. It grows in relatively quickly. I have a buddy of mine that has he's, I don't know, maybe 10 miles from here, and he has like an area of his lawn that's a lot of trees and it's heavily shaded. And I told him, Zoysia's not gonna work. Bermuda's definitely not gonna work. Your only chance is fescue. That's what I would go with. So he went out and got a fescue grass seed, one that I recommended for him. And literally, he called me today, all ecstatic, saying, "Oh, it's growing in, man. It's so awesome." It's been a week since he planted it, and he's already getting great germination. So if you're going with Bermuda, Yukon or Monaco are good choices. But the big thing is irrigation. You're going to want to, if you can, you're going to want to time it such that when there's going to be rain in the forecast for, ideally a couple of weeks, you know what I mean? Unless you have a way to water all that. Alternatively, if you could do it, you could do it in sections. I mean, there's lots of different ways to go about going about doing 3.5 acres. But I mean, it's going to be a big project. And I would also say, go at it knowing that it's not all going to grow in evenly all at once. You're likely going to have to do a couple of rounds of seeding to get it fully filled in. But yeah, it's a huge project, and realize it's not going to be inexpensive. I mean, you're looking at several $1,000s in seed and several $1,000s in irrigation to get 3.5 acres established if you're going with like a Bermuda grass seed. So something to keep in mind. As far as where you can find it, Hancock Seed in Lakeland, Florida. I also can get their website here for you real quick. Hancock Seed. Yeah. These guys are, when I've had to get seed in the past, they've always done a nice job. They've always treated me well. So feel free to reach out to them. I don't have any kind of affiliate code or anything for discounts or anything like that for them, but I recommend them because they do a great job. as far as shipping stuff on time, and the seeds always worked well and that kind of thing. So here you go, Robert. So at Robert Gunby, there you go. And that's where you can get your grass seed. So hope that helps, sir. Sounds like a fun project, but just know what you're getting into, and have reasonable expectations, because 3.5 acres is a lot of property, a lot to grow in. And if you're doing Bermuda grass, which I imagine you are in middle Georgia, Bermuda, it can take a while to establish, especially if it's not getting lots of regular water. So hope that helps, sir. Keep me posted. If you need anything else, definitely let me know. All right, so next up here we have a question here, or a comment from Real Mowers on Instagram. He says, just got 2 bottles of Turfplex from the golf course lawn store. Can't wait for the first of the month. Nice. It's going to be here soon. It's the 22nd, so the first of the month is 30, only 8 days, right? We got like the 30th of June is when you can get it down. And here's the thing: if you, let me see, June, it's a Friday, so yeah, that weekend, 4th of July weekend, July 1st would be a great time to get your Turfplex applied. Something I would say with Real Mowers, if you're going to do it right, if you want to do it up right, is get some Primo, get a little bit of this, a little bit of this, a little bit of secret sauce, and so throw some of this in the tank whenever you're putting your Turfplex down. Your lawn will thank you for it. It's great stuff. We also carry that in the golf course lawn store. It's not that expensive, and it's literally one of the best things you can do for your lawn. It's really not hard to do. If you're already going to be spraying your lawn with Turfplex, you're familiar with using a backpack sprayer, so spraying Primo is not going to be tough. So good job. Thanks for all the love and support. If you need anything else, let me know. We got JoJo in the house. Going on, JoJo? Thanks for coming to hang out in the live stream. Appreciate you as always. All right, that is everyone on the Instagram for right now. We are back to our regularly scheduled programming. All right, so from Facebook, we have Veda Campbell. She says, hello, I am new. First of all, welcome, Veda. Thanks for coming to hang out in the live stream. Appreciate you. She says, I live in Texas, and it feels like it's 200 degrees here right now, but my Bermuda grass is looking good. Bermuda loves like heat. He says, I am on a half an acre, and part is regular Bermuda and the other half is Celebration Bermuda. So I guess maybe one is common and one is Celebration. Okay. The Celebration Bermuda is short, dense, dark green. Where can I find Celebration Bermuda grass seeds? I don't believe Celebration Bermuda is available as a grass seed, Veda. I believe it's only available as sod. I'm fairly certain that's correct. I'm fine to be corrected, but I don't believe Celebration Bermuda is available as a grass seed, in grass seed form. So some Bermudas, particularly the hybrids, some people say Arden 15 was a hybrid. Some people say it's just an improved common. But in general, the hybrid Bermuda cultivars are typically available primarily as sod. And then your common Bermudas or improved common Bermudas, those are what you can get in seed form. So your Celebration, I'm going to say you're going to have to go out and find someone that carries a Celebration sod and go that route. Here's the thing you want to keep in mind too, though, is because your lawn, let me see, you're on half an acre. Something you need to prepare for is, even if you go out and you get Celebration somewhere, you find Celebration sod somewhere, don't be surprised if, from a texture standpoint, they'll look pretty close. They should match. But don't be surprised if there's a slight color difference between your Celebration that's been around for years and then this new stuff, the new Celebration that you bring in. I've experienced that, and I've seen it from other people too with Tifway 419. Celebration might be better controlled with Tifway. Knowing the fact that you're getting Tifway sod does not necessarily mean that it's going to match your existing Tifway lawn perfectly. So just something to keep in mind. If you're going to go out there and you're going to get some Celebration and re-sod, kill off portion of the lawn that you don't like and then re-sod it with Celebration, something to keep in mind that they're not saying there will, but there's a possibility that there might be a slight difference in color. The texture should be the same. The growth characteristics should be the same, but from a color standpoint, you might see a slight color difference. So just something to be prepared for. So hope that helps. If you need anything else, definitely let me know. Appreciate having you as a new viewer. Thank you for taking some time out of your Friday to come. Oh, for Friday. See, I think it's Friday. Out of your Thursday to come hang out in the live stream. All right. Next up, we have Tony Chavez. Another one. Facebook is live tonight, man. We don't really have that many people from Facebook. This is cool. So Tony Chavez is up next. He says, afternoon, Ron. Long-time follower, first time posting a question. Uh-oh. Nope. No pressure. It's got to be a good one. Here we go. He says, I live in Texas. And my lawn is doing great. Greensmaster 1000, height of cut at 1/2 inch. That's how you have to read it. Because, here's the thing. The guys and gals that are mowing, like me, us normal folk that are mowing at like 3/4 of an inch, say, hey, what's your height of cut? 3/4 of an inch. The guys that are like 1/2 inch or lower, like 1/2 inch, baby. It's like they're driving a race car. They're getting it done. All right, so he said 1/2 inch. He says, I notice when I hand water some areas, the water seems to run across the top of the grass and not underneath the canopy. I think I may need a wetting agent, but want to get your opinion and or recommendations on product. Thanks. So when you say it's watering, okay, so you water and the water's running across the grass, but not really sinking in. I mean, here's the thing, Tony, I saw two things there: 1/2 inch height of cut, and you're using like a Greensmaster. So I imagine your lawn is really dense, really tight. I haven't seen pictures of it, but I imagine it's fairly tight. So you might benefit from a verticut or just thinning the lawn out some. That's going to help improve drainage. Going to help the water to penetrate better into the soil. Get past the canopy and get into the soil. As far as a wetting agent, there's a couple of options. There's a couple of moisture managers that I like. I'll show you them here. So if you go to the golf course lawn store, go to shop, and then go to the soil moisture management section. You got a couple of options. You have Hydrotain, which is available in a liquid form, liquid concentrate, a version that can be connected to your hose end sprayer, and then also a granular. So this is the same product in just different different formats, different carriers, different ways of applying it. And then you have the new kid on the block, Foreplay. What this is it is Hydrotain. It's primarily Hydrotain. It's got kelp. It's got wetting agent, so a surfactant, kind of what you're asking for. And I believe it's got some humate in it as well. So this, you can think of this as almost like Hydrotain 2.0. It's particularly designed for localized dry spots, but you can also blanket apply this to your entire lawn. There's no problem with doing that at all. So because you use the word, you're looking for a wetting agent in addition to like a moisture manager, Foreplay is what I'm going to say you should go with. That's going to be the option. Again, it's available in a concentrate in the 1 gallon or as the in a hose end sprayer. What some folks will do is they'll buy both of them. They'll buy this, the hose end applicator, and they'll also buy the gallon. And then once this runs out, they'll simply refill the applicator, the hose end sprayer with from the gallon. Because the thing with Hydrotain, with any of these moisture managers, is that they need quite a bit of water. They need quite a bit of carrier to work properly. Meaning you want to apply them and then water them in. And using a hose end sprayer has the advantage that you're putting out quite a bit greater. You're putting out a much higher volume of water versus if you were to go with a backpack sprayer. So that's one advantage of going the hose end sprayer route when it comes to applying a Foreplay. So I'll link put a link here for you in the chat. Hopefully this helps. I appreciate you chiming in. It's your first time, visiting or leaving a comment. So hopefully it was my answer was a good return on your time. Let me see, at Tony. So Tony, and here you go, right there. So you'll be able to pick it up there. If you scroll to the bottom, you'll see it. You'll see it there as far as the link to Hydrotain. I think to Foreplay. I think you'll really like the results with that. But also again, consider. Verticutting. Here's the thing: of the two options, as far as the way to thin out your lawn this time of year, verticutting is the less aggressive way. Meaning, if you do it right, you'll hardly be able to tell that the lawn was verticut. You'll see like the lines, but it won't have like a lot of trauma. If you do a scalp, it's going to look a bit ugly. You're gonna lose some of the color temporarily, and some people don't want to take that hit to the green color. So it's really your call. But in addition to either doing a light scalp or a verticut, using that moisture manager will help the situation as well. So I hope that helps, sir. If you need anything else, let me know. And I appreciate you taking some time out of your Thursday evening to come hang out and talk about lawn care. Next up is E-Dub. E-Dub says, hi, Ron. Don't laugh at me. I planted a Scott's Sun and Shade mix earlier this spring, and it burned out. I live in Houston, 105 degrees for almost 3 weeks. Now I have to do a renovation and put Bermuda on 8,000 square feet. I'm not laughing at you. Why would I laugh at you? That's not nice. So the Sun and Shade mix is likely going to be like some ryegrass and fescue. And while that is that's a good blend for like a cool season lawn in Houston, where you get tons of direct sunlight and it's really hot and really humid, not going to do so well, right? So not surprised that it died off once the heat arrived, especially if you're not watering it. I mean, fescue can live in the southeast. You just got to put a lot of water on it this time of year. You got to use moisture managers, put a lot of water on it, and really it does better with a lawn that doesn't get tons and tons of direct sunlight, a little bit more shade. So yeah, but yeah, no worries. I mean, at least you're here now, and it's only June, so there's still plenty of time in the season for you to do this renovation to get your Bermuda down. 8,000 square feet is not an impossible, it's not ginormous as far as a sodding project. And if you haven't picked a sod yet, consider Tahoma 31. That's getting great reviews. The first people that I saw talking about that particular cultivar was the Lawn Tools. Their lawns look great. BYD, I think recently did a renovation on part of his back lawn with Tahoma 31. So if you're going to go out and do Bermuda sod, why not go for the new hotness? So Tahoma is what I would say to go with. So hope that helps. Next up, we got a question here from, make sure nothing else from Instagram. Nope. Got a question here from Jonathan Quevedo. He says, how is Toro City for weeds in cool season grass? I don't know what that is. I'd have to look here. Let's see. We can learn something together. I mean, you probably know more than me because you actually know what it is. Toro City. Are you talking about Toro City herbicide. What is it? Is it basically a thing on tenacity? So it's mesotrione. Yeah. So it's basically tenacity. Yeah. So it's it is a knockoff version of tenacity. And it says 40%. Yeah, so it's mesotrione. So how is it for weeds and cool season grass? Good. For the weeds it's designed to target for crabgrass, works great. So the thing you have to be prepared for, Jonathan, I don't know, I mean, I've never used Toro City, but I can tell you how tenacity, like people that use this really enjoy it, really like it. The thing you have to be prepared for with tenacity is that you more than likely you will get some light discoloration in the area that you spray. So tenacity, if you look at the label, they don't really recommend blanket spraying this. The main reason why is it's going to discolor your lawn. It's going to temporarily discolor your lawn, and most people don't want that. So if you've got a few clumps of crabgrass here and there, and it's like, you know what, too much work, I don't want to get out there and pull it, I want to spray it out, tenacity would be a good option for that. Just realize that if you're spraying a clump of crabgrass, the grass nearby is going to get lightly discolored. It's only going to be that way for a couple of weeks, and then it will go back to it's going to get its color back. So there's something to be prepared for whenever you're spraying mesotrione, or you're spraying tenacity in your cool season lawn. It'll work. I mean, as long as the weeds that you're targeting are ones that it's labeled for, you should get a good result. For best results, mix some surfactant along with it, like the spreader sticker like this. This is the one that we carry in the golf course lawn store, the high yield. Mix the surfactant with it. And between that, as long as you get the application rate correct, you should get a good result. You know what I mean? Check the label again before you pick it up to make sure that it's that the weeds that you're targeting are covered. So because tenacity doesn't cover quite as many weeds as, say, something like Celsius does. It's like I think it's like the mid 40s, 45 to 50 weeds, I think is what it's labeled for. So there is that. So yeah, I mean, it works great against weeds as long as you're spraying weeds that it's labeled to take care of, and just be prepared for some mild discoloration that will be temporary. So hope that helps. Next up is Sure Guy. He says, Southern Wisconsin is crispy. You need some rain. You want some of the rain we got here in Georgia? We got tons and tons and tons and tons of rain. You can have some of it. I'm good on rain. I'm not going to be watering for a couple weeks. All this rainfall that we got here, we're going to be good to go. I'm not going to need to put rain on the lawn for a while. All right, next up is E-Dub. He says, what are the steps? Roundup, till 2 inches of soil, and seed. Is that right? Thanks. Yeah, that can work, E-Dub. What I would say is this: if you want to get rid of Bermuda and have the best chance of getting rid of it in one go, because Bermuda is tough to kill. What I would use, I'll show you here. I'll show you the concoction that I like. Just go to the golf course lawn store and go to Weed Killer, and pick this up. You have 8,000 square feet. You may want to use a bigger bottle than this, but these quick packs are good for non-selectively killing weeds, right? So take Roundup. This is a 70% glyphosate and diaquat product. So it's very aggressive. And if you can mix this with Fusilade, which is really a selective herbicide that is designed for removing Bermuda grass out of zoysia. So that's what Fusilade that's what it's designed for. But if you mix glyphosate and Fusilade, that is the one combination that I've tested myself. I've used it on my mulch beds and on like the Real Rollers Turf Park. And as far as a one and done, like you apply it, you do this one time. If you mix it properly, per the rates that I show in the video that's linked in the description, and spray it like one time should knock out the Bermuda. So yeah. Then everything else that you have there, as far as if you want to till to pull out the old grass, if you want to do that, that's an option. And then if you're going to go with seed, yeah, that would be the time to seed. Again, personally, I would do sod. It is it's far less trouble. You get the advantage of trying out the newer cultivars. Like, for example, Tahoma 31 is not available in seed. You can only get it in sod. So if I can convince you to go the sod route, that is the way that I would say to go. Because literally what will happen is you'll kill off your lawn. You will go from no grass to, if you're doing it, it's going to be a lot of work. But if you're having a service come do it, you go from no grass to a lawn. And all you have to do is water it, give it a few weeks, let it get established, and you can slowly start getting on the lawn and start mowing it. And then, if you did this, by the end, if you started this project the end of this month, by August, you're going to have a really good looking lawn. It's going to be doing really well. So that's my thoughts on whether the seed versus sod route. Either way will work. Totally your call. I would opt for sod if it were me. And also, if you decide you want to do hard mode, you're like, nope, Ron, I don't care. I want to do hard mode. I will. I'll give you a link to the glyphosate product. Let's just see, at eDub. This is the glyphosate product, and then for the Fusilade to help get rid of the Bermuda, you'll want this here. So it's a great combination that. Again, it's like a one and done, which for Bermuda grass is really hard to say. Bermuda is not easy to kill, but this does get it done. And if you want to see the rates that I used even more, I will show you the video that I filmed last year on this very topic of how to get rid of Bermuda grass. The video is talking about getting rid of Bermuda in mulch beds, because this concoction, you would not spray it on a lawn that you actually cared about. In your case, you want to get rid of the lawn, you want to renovate it, so it'll be just fine. But this concoction, it is non-selective, meaning that if you spray it on your lawn, it's going to kill your lawn. So don't do it if you care about your grass. So there you go. You got the products, and you have the video that shows how I would recommend going about using it, how I've used it myself to get a good result. So even up to now, the Bermuda grass that I sprayed out last year in my mulch beds still hasn't grown back. There's some that's starting to try to creep in there, but the stuff that I killed last year in August still has not attempted to come back, and we're already in June. So as far as like really getting rid of Bermuda, that combination is very good. All right, next up is Robin Shallett. He says, liked number 16. I appreciate it, Robert. Thank you for all the love and support. Thank you so much for that. I really do appreciate the love and support. Next up, we got Omar Garcia. He says, good evening. What warm season grass, in your opinion, handles the cold the best? Want to try it in Indiana. I'll tell you, the warm season grass that I've heard of people growing successfully as far north as New Jersey is zoysia. I've not heard of Bermuda grass being used in Indiana. I'm not saying it can't be, but I've just personally not heard of that. I do have a few viewers though that have zoysia in Jersey. So if you want to look into one, you could look at zoysia. I don't know as far as how long your growing season is going to be with that, but I mean I know I wish so I can find pictures of his lawn, because he did send them to me. But as far as a warm season lawn that will work, or that will tolerate colder temperatures and not die out every year, zoysia seems to do well. And I would imagine that Jersey and Indiana have similar winters. Maybe you guys are a lot colder. If you're a lot colder, maybe it won't work. But I mean, zoysia is the only one I've heard of that has done well in more northern climates. So hope that helps. It's not from direct experience, but it's from what feedback I've gotten from a few viewers, something to try out. But I mean, I guess why Bermuda though? Why why a warm season grass? Because I mean, even with you being in Indiana, you've got there's some great ryegrass options. There's great fescue. I mean, not fescue. You've got ryegrass. There's great Kentucky bluegrass options, and you can mow those very short. You can stripe those. You can mow them really short. They can look really nice, and they'll likely do better in where you live than zoysia will. I mean, you can do it, but again, I don't know how long your growing season is going to be. You might start like in May and end in August for all you know. You know what I mean? So just something to keep in mind. Even if you could do it, Omar, I would say just do some more research and find out like what kind of like how much grass or green grass you're going to have throughout the year if you go this route. So something to think about. Next up is Anna Duran. She says, or Anna Duran, I think it's Duran. She says, I'm going to apply a weed killer this weekend. Should I cut my grass for that? All lawn care is new to me in this new house. Okay, Anna. So the general guidance when it comes to applying herbicides for take care of weeds are, no herbicides 2 day. So mowing 2 days prior to, and then no mowing 2 days after. Of the two, if I had a choice as far as which one to follow, the after, in my opinion, is more important. Really, if you're looking to get rid of weeds in your lawn, like you've already got weeds in your lawn, I would even refrain from mowing it. Like let there be as much leaf tissue as possible, because the more leaf there is, whenever you spray, whatever product, I'm not sure what you're using, whatever product you spray on the lawn, there's more tissue to be able to take up the herbicide and then ultimately kill it. So if you're gonna, go out this weekend, say Saturday, so 2 days from now, you're gonna go out and I guess maybe get something from the big box stores or whatever and spray your lawn with it, I wouldn't mow between now and then. I would leave it let the grass sit be as it is. Get the herbicide that you plan to use. Obviously, read the label, make sure you understand how to apply it properly, and then spray the weeds, the areas that you're trying to control with the herbicide. And then after that, let at least 2 days go by before you start mowing. So what's going to happen is, you spray the lawn, the 2 to 3 days that the lawn has or the weeds have to take up the herbicide and begin, it starts working in the root system and begins killing it. Then when you mow the lawn, it's much harder for the weed to grow back because the herbicide's already injured it. And then when you mow the grass, you mow the weed, you cut it off, it's going to be further injuring it. So it's going to make it more difficult for it to recover from that if you follow that sequence. So the most important thing is to give it enough time after the application. But really, if you're going to do it this weekend, don't mow between now and say Saturday or Sunday when you're planning to spray the herbicide, and then don't mow for a couple days afterwards. That's going to get you the best result. So as far as herbicide options, if you haven't decided on one yet, we have tons of good ones here on the Golf Course Lawn Store. If you go to shop and then go to weed killer for a good, broad spectrum herbicide that does, it's not as good as Celsius or Certainty, but as far as one that does a pretty good job knocking out like dandelions, clover, a lot of your more common weeds, it's tough to beat Triad. This is a really good three-way herbicide. It's not terribly expensive either, and that would be a good option. It's not difficult to apply. You can get like a little pump sprayer, a little handle pump sprayer, and as you mix it properly, I think it's 1.5 ounces per gallon. I think is what the rate is. Be sure to read the label, obviously, and double check that. And that will work well. And this is going to be a step up, a pretty good step up as far as potency versus what you will get from the big box store products. Now I'm interested. That is correct. So 1.5 ounces per 1,000 square feet. So mix up 1.5 ounces of this with a gallon of water, and then spray up to 1,000 square feet of lawn or weeds that you're trying to target. So hope that helps. If you need anything else, let me know. The thing I will tell you is, regardless of which herbicide you decide to use, whether you get Triad from us or you go buy something at the big box store, is read the label. Read it at least 2 times to make sure you understand, how to apply it properly. Also, make sure you wear your PPE, your personal protective equipment. So, I like to wear rubber boots because that way I don't have to worry about like my tennis shoes getting herbicide on them and tracking that all over the place. So if you can get yourself a pair of cheap rubber boots, doesn't have to be expensive. That's a good thing as well. And then so long pants, boots, long sleeve shirt, and gloves, and then you're good to go. And then after you spray the weeds, don't look at them for like 10 days, because the next thing that's going to happen, especially for people that are new to lawn care, is like, I sprayed the weeds, I'm waiting to see results right away, and it doesn't work that way. If you want to kill weeds and not kill your grass, by the herbicides that do that tend to work a bit slower. So once you spray the lawn, give it a couple of weeks before you even bother looking at it, 10 days or so before you look at it, and you'll start to see it yellowing up, and then it'll die off over time. So hope that helps. Congrats on taking on the new house, and then also on taking on the challenge of taking care of your lawn yourself. If I can help with anything else, let me know, and be sure to check out our blog. It's completely free. All the content on there is completely free to consume. So if you're looking for lots of lawn care topics, there's lots of info there. We actually have a blog post on the best 4 products for killing weeds without killing your grass. So I'll also link that for you in the chat as well, so that way you're covered. All right, next up is Mr. Jim Ruman. Says, I'm about to do a complete scalp and hide-a-cut reset due to being out of town for 2 weeks. What's the best and fastest way to help my lawn recover? Really, it's a time thing, Jim. What I would say is if you're feeding, I didn't see what you have for fertilizer. So if you've not fed your lawn, do that. Like if you've not been fertilizing your lawn, that is going to help it recover faster. What I would say is if you're looking for the fastest recovery, going with a liquid fertilizer, something like 901C would be a good option. So because you figure with granular fertilizers, you apply them and typically it's 5 to 7 days thereabouts, depending on conditions, before you start seeing a color response in the lawn. With liquid products, foliar-based products, it's more like 2 to 3 days you start seeing a response. So if you're looking to get the lawn to recover faster after the height of cut reset, a liquid fertilizer is a better option. So I'll show you a couple here. First, lawn store, and go to shop, and then lawn fertilizer. What I would say, if you're looking for something that's quick and also going to help the lawn bounce back, it's also got a biostimulant in it as well. Really tough to beat 901C. So you can get it in, depending on the size of your lawn, you can get it in 32 ounces, 1 gallon, 2.5 gallons. It depends on which way you want to go. As far as application rate, you're only going to use 3 ounces of this. So it's, a little bit goes a long way to what I'm trying to say. So even though it's more expensive than other fertilizers out there, if you realize that you're using a lot less of it than you do in some other products, and this is also a biostimulant, it's got like 10% micronized carbon in it as well, in addition to being a fertilizer, that will help your lawn recover faster. So sequence, what I would do is I would do your scalp, do your hide-a-cut reset, and then if say you did your scalp in the morning, you could spray the lawn with this in the evening, or even the following day, spray your lawn with it, and then you should start seeing recovery. You should start bouncing back fairly soon. I mean, especially if the lawn was at that height before, so you're not like making a drastic change. So if it were, in other words, if your lawn was once at say 1/2 inch, and then you let it grow out to say 3/4 of an inch, and you scalp it back down to like 1/2 inch, it's not going to take quite as long to get it looking good again versus a lawn that's never been at 1/2 inch and then it's at 3/4, and you try and take it down 1/2 inch. That you're looking at a longer process. So let me get this link to you. If you need anything else, let me know. That is what I would go with. I mean, you can go with as far as a liquid, this is a good one to go with. If you want granular, you can go with any of the Lebanon fertilizers. The finer prill that's in these, so like in Humic Max, the Complete, or the Stress, is going to get in the soil faster than a larger prill fertilizer. So if I'm going to show you real quick, this is a standard fertilizer prill. So this is what you'll find, other online fertilizers, but you find in your big box stores. This is the size. This is Humic Max. This is the fertilizer that I most regularly use on my lawn. So you can see the difference between this and this. This is like a 210 SGN. This is 150 SGN. And if you're saying, nope, not small enough, I want it even smaller, you have our greens grades fertilizers, which are like the Complete and the Stress. You can see the difference there between the two. So this is 150 SGN size guide number. This is 80. So this is we'll even work on golf greens. You can see how fine that product is. I mean, it's almost like a powder. So either of these, if you're going granular, Humic Max, or any of the Complete or the Stress, are good options for helping the lawn recover faster. But liquid's going to be faster than any of the granulars because liquids works faster. So I hope that helps, sir. Realize it's going to get a little bit ugly, but if you go with the liquid route, it will recover faster. Next up is, I am going to butcher this name. I'm going to try it. Next up is Azucaren 2. Like sugar. Azucar, yeah. Azucaren 2 says, I have a lot of nutsedge and spot treating would be a lot of work. Any advice on a possible granular that would kill it? Granular that will kill, none that I'm aware of. There might be one azucarine, but I don't. I am not aware of a granular post-emergent herbicide for killing sedge, for killing nut sedge that works well. I don't even know if Spectracide. I think Spectracide is labeled for some of the sedges, but it's really not great. It's good for a lot of other stuff, but for sedges, not so much. Really, if you have warm season grass like Bermuda, zoysia, St. Augustine, Bahia grass, centipede grass, certainty, this really is, in my opinion, the best product that you can go with for control of sedges. I mean, this is awesome stuff. It doesn't take very much. Like it comes with a measuring scoop, a measuring spoon. Literally, you'll use what I got here. You'll literally use like 3 of the small scoops, like 3 of these small scoops with a couple gallons of water and surfactant, and that will not, it will absolutely devastate sedges this time of year with it as hot as it is. So I would try and convince you to go more the liquid route. Granular post-emergent herbicides, there's not a lot of great options for that. And as far as just getting a better result, working faster, it's really tough to beat, especially against sedges. It's really hard to beat certainty. So this is what I would say to go with. If you look at the product description, there's a video in there that shows how I like to use the product. There's different ways, of different rates of using it, but I show how I like to do it, and I get really good results using it that way. So if you're interested in that, I'll put a link here in the chat for you, and then you can decide for yourself if it's for you. It really isn't hard to do, and again, for sedges in particular, in warm season grass, it doesn't really get much better than certainty. If you have cool season grass, so rye, fescue, Kentucky bluegrass, then you'll go with sedgehammer. So this is an option this is safe for both warm and cool season grass, but if you got warm season grass, don't use sedgehammer, use certainty. But because this is really only for warm season grass. If you use this on cool season grass, you'll injure and or kill it. Whereas this, you can spray on both warm and cool season, but it's not as good as this. So there you go. So I'm going to send you the link to, actually, what I'll do is this. I'll send you the link to the collection page, and you can decide for yourself because they're both there. They're both there. So Celsius, Certainty and Sedgehammer, both are for sedge control, and you can find them both there. It's in the chat now. Azucar. I keep trying to say sugar. Azucaren. Hope that helps. Next up is Ignacio Paez. He says, Central Texas, 100-degree temps all week. I don't worry about lawn damage with the Celsius Certainty combo. It just works on weeds and leaves the grass alone. Zoysia backyard, Bermuda in the front. Yep, I keep telling you, man, it's tough to beat that combo. Like this, I searched through like a lot of different options. I played with several different 3-ways, which are usually a lot less expensive than something like Celsius for broadleaf control. But the problem with them is as temperatures get higher, you're gonna discolor your grass. So as far as the combination that I know of, and also some friends of mine that work in industry agree with me. They say that as far as for warm season turf, warm season grass only, this combination of Celsius and Certainty is really tough to beat. I mean, it's a really, really good combination. You can spray it as temperatures are cooler. You can spray it when temperatures are warmer. And as far as discoloring your grass, much less likely than a 3-way is going to do, especially this time of year. Neither of these products have any labeled temperature restrictions. Now, I mean, obviously you want to use common sense, but you have Ignacio here who lives in Central Texas where it's 100 degrees out, and even when he sprays his lawn, it's still not injuring it. So as long as you mix it properly, spray it correctly, it's gonna do exactly what it's designed to do, which is kill the weeds without killing your grass in the process. So highly, highly recommend it. Azucarine, if you're looking for herbicides, that's going to do a great job and keep your grass in good shape in the process. All right, next up is Aaron Bowling. He says, Ron, if you're applying Essential G or carbonized PN consistently, do you still need to put hydrotane down in warm weather, or does the Mirichi product act similar to retain water for the grass? I would still use hydrotane. I mean, hydrotane works. It's a completely different product than the biochar that is in Essential G and carbonized PN. I mean, they all work together. They all help support each other. But as strictly as a moisture manager, hydrotane is I would still do that. Hydrotane or foreplay, either one of those, or some moisture manager. If you don't like those, you want to use something else, that's fine too. But a moisture manager, a dedicated moisture manager, is going to work better, or is going to help your lawn resist like drought conditions better than simply only using Essential G or carbonized PN. Granted, on my lawn, I do all of them, right? So I use Essential G every month, And I've also gotten down my hydrotan application, and I've done one so far for this season. You know what I mean? So yes, to answer your question, yes, especially if you live, Aaron, in a part of the country that's prone to getting like Central Texas, where it's either flooding or there's no rain at all, where it's either like a desert or it's a monsoon. A place like that is where hydrotan really shines. So here in Georgia, like this, especially this year, this summer, the summer's been relatively mild so far. So it's still a good idea to get a moisture manager down, but really when you get into areas like Central Texas where it gets hot for like weeks on end with not much rainfall, that is where they really shine, because your lawn, whereas the other lawns in your neighborhood are going to start yellowing from heat stress, your lawn is going to hold on to its color longer than lawns that do not have a moisture manager, that applied to them. So just something to consider as well as you go about your decision making process. Well, guys, gals, if you guys are enjoying this so far, if you guys would not mind, please hit that like button. We've got over 100 people in the live stream right now and only 68 likes. Surely we can do better than that. It costs you absolutely nothing. It's completely free to do, and it's a great way to support the live stream, support the show. So please hit that like button. It's a great way to just support the channel while I look for the next question and or comment. All right. Next, we got Steven Thompson. He says, hey, Ron. In Dallas-Fort Worth, we are in the upper 90s and hundreds probably from here on out. I have a bottle of Greens Plus to spray. I'm just not sure on temperature regulations. Yeah, so Greens Plus is one of the few fertilizers from Ecologel that you water that one in. It has a lot of slow release nitrogen in it, and it's designed to be watered in. So there's no issue. There should be no issue at all with spraying that. Even with like say I'll show you. Even with the foliar based fertilizers. So like take like 901C, NutriKelp, Turfplex, Nutrizolve, any of these. Like I've sprayed every 2 weeks. I spray these on my lawn, and it doesn't matter what the temperatures are. I spray them, and I don't get any discoloration. As long as the big thing to keep in mind, Stephen, as long as you are spraying them at low rates. So for release 901C, you would spray that at 3 ounces per 1,000 square feet. Doesn't sound like much, but that's all you need. This stuff is very concentrated. You don't need a whole lot of it. A little bit goes a long way. If you're using any of the Ecologel products, like the Turfplex or Nutrizolve, the label rates for these are 6 ounces per 1,000, and these guys don't need to be watered in. So this Bloomplex, Nutrizolve, Turfplex, NutriKelp, release 901C, you apply them, allow them to dry, and then happy days. Just let the lawn go. If you have Greens Plus, you are going to want to water that one in after application. But the long and short of it is, as long as you are applying the products at the correct rates in the manner they're designed to be applied, you shouldn't have any issues with burning or discoloration or anything like that. I've not experienced that with any of the foliars that I've applied on my lawn. So you guys see the channel. You guys know what I put down a lot. I mean, here at the beginning of July, it's going to be, I'll even show you. In the beginning of July, my combination is going to be the 901C carbon kit. So it's going to be release 901C, NutriKelp, BioSpectrum, and Primo. That's what's going to go down. These 3 are going to go down, and there's a kicker. I might throw some Nutrizolve in the tank as well, but this is going to be the staple. Release 901C, NutriKelp, and Primo. Like that's going to be what I'm going to be using on my lawn. And there's I've not to date, knock on wood, never experienced any issues with burning or any kind of damage at all. Again, just make sure you apply it at the proper rates. T1000 is up next. He says, hit the like button. Thank you so much, T1000. Do it. Hit the like button. Just move your mouse over there and go, bing, hit the like button. It's free. Next up is AM Chavez 1. He says, I live in Texas. Lawn is doing great, but I noticed that when I hand water some areas, the water seems to run across the lawn. I think I've already answered this one for you, AM Chavez. Run across the lawn underneath the canopy. If you were the same person that was on earlier, what I would say is if you can verticut or slightly thin out the lawn, that would be good. And then similar to the same advice I gave the other viewer is a moisture manager like 4Play would work well. So I'll in case in the event that you're a different person asking the exact same question, it's possible. It is possible. I will send you a link to the product that I sent to the other gentleman earlier. That's what you want to use. All right, so we got a super chat. Let me get down here and grab this really quick from Mr. Travis Winston. Thank you so much, Travis.
Super chat received.
He says, late to the show, watching from work. Hope everyone is having a great day. Hey, Ron, I know your lawn is nice and level, but are you doing a light top dressing this year? Thanks. Hit the like button. I have not done, well, I did the front lawn. The front lawn's already been top dressed this year already with carbonized PN. The back lawn, I'm still holding out. Alex says, here's the thing, I was not planning on doing it, but Alex told me he wants to do some spot top dressing. So we got to get that planned. We got to get that done. You know, what'll probably happen is we're as close as we are to the 4th of July, we're probably not going to do it before then, but after 4th of July, it would be good. We'll be good to go. So he's going to probably have company over. So you want to have the lawn looking nice. You don't want to have sand all over the lawn whenever you have company over. So I would imagine after the 4th of July is when we will do some spot top dressing is what he said to me. His idea, not mine. So yeah, but yeah, the front lawn's already had its top dressing this year and is looking good. Next up, we have Mr. Don Vasquez. Don Vasquez. He says, nope. Actually, no. Actually, we have Steven Thompson. He says, still doing some spot leveling, so not under regulation yet, waiting for it to grow all the way in, although then it's primo time. Nice. Sounds like a plan, Steven. I like it. Then next up, we got Don Vasquez. He says, holy smokes, this rain is blowing us out in Augusta. Hope your yard is draining well, Ron. It is. This is what it looks like as of, I don't know, an hour and a half ago. So this is what it looked like on Tuesday. So it was raining like absolute craziness. You can see super heavy rainfall. And when that happens, the lake forms. And then that's the net result of that. And then this afternoon, right before the live stream, I mowed it, double cut it. And this is what it looks like right now. So that's the lawn as it sits right before the show. So yeah, it drained out very nicely despite all the heavy rainfall we had this year. Again, one of the biggest benefits of top dressing your lawn is not the fact that it looks smooth like a golf course like that. One of the biggest benefits that I didn't really anticipate or account for when I first top dressed was drainage. Like one of the best parts about it literally is you see like that and you say, oh wow, it's gonna be there for like a couple of days. Nope, literally hours later, as soon as it stops raining, hours later, it's all gone. It's all gone. It drains out of the lawn very, very quickly. So it's one of the best parts that you don't really realize that comes from top dressing a lawn, right? All right, so next up is Gordon. He says, I put out common Bermuda seed last weekend. I've been watering evening, morning with no sprouts. Any suggestions? Okay, so it's only been last weekend. So you gotta remember, the fastest germinating Bermuda grass seed that I've come across is Arden 15. That germinated 9 days after I planted it. Most Bermuda grass seed does not do that. In most cases, you're looking at between 14 to 21 days for it to grow. Given that you applied it last weekend, you shouldn't even be looking for it to start germinating yet. Really, I would say this time next week, you might start seeing some sprout, but really it's that closer to that 3-week period is when you should expect Bermuda to begin growing in. So yeah, it's still too early. If you had fescue, yeah, fescue would be germinating already, but Bermuda, not so much. Bermuda, Kentucky bluegrass, not so much. It's only been, it's been 4 or 5 days. So it's not enough time as yet for Bermuda to grow in, Gordon. It should, as long as you did everything properly, like you did your prep work properly, you applied this grass seed well, and then you drug it in, you raked it in. That shouldn't, there shouldn't be a problem with it growing in, but it's just going to take a bit more. It's just going to take a bit more time for it to grow in. Okay, next up is No Name. He says, hey, Ron and fellow lawn enthusiasts. Happy Friday Eve. Looking forward to some good lawn chat. Finishing up Mom right now. I'm not sure. Mo right now. Okay, yeah. Dude, that's the thing. I get it. Like literally we finally got a break in the weather. So like across Georgia, all lawn care crazies are all out there like mowing their lawns. Like now we've been waiting, just chomping at the bit to get out there and mow. So I didn't only do one, I double cut it because it really needed it. So I hear you, No Name. No problem at all with getting that lawn done. Gary Freeman's up next. He says, hey, Ron, hashtag Shock Apparition Gang. Soggy. It is it's been a wet week here in Georgia, but hey, it's good. I mean, it's good stuff, right? I mean, the thing is, we're never happy, right? We want it to rain. We want it to rain right after our fertilizer application or our granular biostimulant applications, but outside of that, we just want rainfall when we want it, and we're just never happy. But the lawn is definitely gonna benefit from it, so it's all good. It's all good. I can't complain. All right, so I have a picture here. Tony Cooper sent me a picture on Instagram. I'm not sure what the question. Um, oh yeah, yeah. Here we go. Yeah, so a before and afterwards. So yeah, so that's what he sent me. So it's a before and after. Let me see if I can get them both to show here. So he did top dressing. He wanted to show the before and then the after. It's still filling in, but for those of you guys that have done top dressing and maybe you went a little bit heavy, like you said, you know what? Ron always says to go light, but you know what? I'm gonna go a little heavier. Why not just go a little bit heavier and get it all done in one go? So he's showing a picture here, some pictures here of his lawn, and this is what he started out as when he did his top dressing. Again, which is a bit on the, I mean, a little on the heavy side, not crazy heavy, but definitely, you know, he got some sand down there, so definitely a low spot in the lawn. It went from that to, once this loads, that. So you can see how nicely with some heat and sunlight, because you definitely no problem with shade in that part of the lawn, how quickly it can recover. So from that to that. So yeah, so given temperatures, Bermuda does bounce back fairly well, fairly quickly. Just got to give it time. You know what I mean? That's the big thing. So thanks for sharing those pictures with us, Tony. I appreciate you sharing the progress of your top dressing work. So thanks again. Next, we have T1000. He says, it rained hard in, actually, Anna, I saw your thing. I'll come back to your question. He says, it rained hard in Austin, Texas last night. Grass is emerald city green. Roof, however, probably needs a replacement. So you got, man, listen, you know, here's the thing, you know, folks in Texas, I got to tell you guys, you know, I'm going to go on record here and say, you guys are, I mean, as far as like a complaining bunch, like it's either it's too hot, it's super hot, it's just, you know, the Lord hates us, the you know, we've got, it's a desert, there's no bouncing back, this is the end, this is the big one, my lawn's done for, or it's raining too much, I need a roof replacement. You guys are either feast or famine, man. There's no keeping you guys happy, I gotta tell you. But yeah, the good benefit to a T1000 is you do have a nice green. You know, nice this time of year, the lawn really should be popping back with a nice color with all this rainfall. So there is that. All right, next up is Anna. She says, after weed control, how long do I wait to overseed? Is it too late? Temps hair range from 60 to 80 now. Okay, so I don't know where you are, Anna. That's part of this that would be really helpful. If you're in Southeast Georgia, so you've got like warm season grass, what should happen is once you kill the weeds, if you have Bermuda, overseeding really shouldn't be necessary because those areas where the weeds used to be, the Bermuda will grow into, it will spread into those areas. If you have some bare spots, what you can do is you can transfer grass, take plugs from the existing parts of your lawn that are doing well, and transfer those to the area that are now bare from killing off the weeds. The reason why I'm trying to steer you away from overseeding, especially if you have warm season grass, is that it's highly unlikely that it's not going to match. Like if you have Tifway and you go out and you get like Monaco or Yukon, like I've never seen those two together personally, so I don't know how well they would look together. Tifway and like Arden 15 or Tifway and Princess 77 look reasonably good together, but I don't know how other cultivars would look when mixed. And the thing with Bermuda grass seed is once it's in, the only way to really get rid of it is to do a renovation. Like you can't selectively remove one Bermuda grass type from a lawn once it's in there. So I don't know where you are, so it's hard to answer your question. You say 60s to 80s, so it kind of makes you sound like you're up north somewhere. If that's the case, then yes, overseeding is something you can do. The problem with doing it this time of year is if the temps are going to get a lot higher than the 80s, so if where you live in the country, it's going to go into the 90s or low 100s, cool season grass seed is going to have a hard time staying alive this time of year. Now, if you're somewhere in a northern climate, and your lawn happens to have shade, like you got some trees to where it's not getting the brunt of the summer heat, in that case, yeah, you can absolutely go out and use like a blend of ryegrass and Kentucky bluegrass to fill in bare spots if you want to. It's really more for warm season grass that I really don't recommend using overseeding as a way to fix bare spots, because Bermuda as a grass type, once it's getting enough sunlight and heat, it spreads very aggressively. You really shouldn't have to overseed it to fill in areas that are no longer being occupied by the weeds. So hope that helps. Next up is Trevor Johnson. He says, happy Thursday, Ron, and all finishing up a mow right now and came across some adult June bugs. I treated with a Celloprint SC a couple times earlier this season as recommended rates. Thoughts? Interesting, Trevor. So you found adult June bugs in your lawn. They were alive? Huh. I mean, you could do another application. You absolutely could. I mean, for me, normally one app does it, man. I normally get one app done in April timeframe, late March, early April timeframe, and it carries me, throughout the summer without any issues. If you're worried about it, you can do another app of a Celloprint, because you said you did it earlier. We said it a couple times earlier this season, so that shouldn't be a problem. I mean, what rate did you use, Trevor? If you use the rate that I have good success with, as a broad catch-all rate, is 0.2 right here. 0.2 ounces over 1,000 square feet. Now, you can go for certain insects all the way up into the 0.4 range, but I find, why use more of the product if you don't need to? So what I normally do is 0.2 ounces with over 1,000 square feet has worked well for me, and was worked well for people that tend to give me feedback after they started switching to a Celloprint. So I'm not sure what's going on with your lawn, why you're seeing June bugs. It really shouldn't be a thing. Are they alive or are they dead when you see them? So that would be another question. But if you applied it at that rate, the 0.20 rate, and it was applied properly, you did a good even application and you watered it in after application, you really shouldn't have issues with grubs, June bugs. You shouldn't be really a problem in your lawn this time of year. So yeah, if you don't mind, Trevor, I'm interested now. Send me a picture of what you got going on. This is my email address, ron@golfcourselawn.com. So send me an email, and in that email, tell me when you did the applications, what rate you used, and then also send me a picture of the June bug or the insect, if you can do that. I'd like to see what you're dealing with. All right, next up is Alex Ristiano. He says, hey Ron, what's your recommendation? I'm dropping my height of cut back down to 1 inch. It's currently at 2 1/4 inches. Hopefully, I can mow tomorrow or Saturday morning. PGR just arrived, super quick shipping. Thanks. You are welcome. Thank you for the support. We do try to ship products as quickly as possible. Okay, so your recommendation for dropping your height of cut down. It depends, man. So are you a Band-Aid off quickly kind of guy, or are you someone that wants to maintain as much color as possible as you step the lawn back down from 2 1/4 to 1 inch? If you take it down in one go, it's gonna look ugly for about a week. So that's what you're going to be dealing with if you decide to take it down in one shot. If you decide you want to preserve as much color and step it down over time, then you're going to take 2 weeks, and every time you mow, you're going to reduce the height of cut slightly, 1/4 of an inch each time, and then that way you're going to get back down to 1 inch while maintaining as much color as possible. If it were me, I would just cut the lawn. I would just take it down to 1 inch and then continue mowing it. So once you take it down to that height, start mowing it at 1 inch. Start training it to get used to growing at that height of cut. It's gonna look uglier, but it's gonna, you're looking about a week or so of it looking not that great. Versus this game you're playing where, okay, I gotta drop my mower by 1 notch, or I gotta reset the height of cut on my real mower down to by 1/4 of an inch each time. It's kind of a pain. So, in my case, it's exactly what I did today. My lawn grew probably to an inch or so. I mean, with all the rain it's had, and it hasn't had any mowing for almost 4 days. And I just whacked it all down, whacked it back down to 0.70. And this is what it looks like as of right now. So it still looks pretty decent. I'll probably have some areas that are a little bit lighter than others, but overall, still looks good. So it really depends on you, Alex, is what I'm trying to say. If you're someone where it looking a little less good for a week or so is not going to bother you, you can do it in one go. If it will bother you, take 2 weeks and just step it down at each time you mow. Just lower the height of cut a little bit each time, and that's a way to preserve color while you get back down to 1 inch. Ray Antonio, he says, yes, aerate and river sand only, no mix. A lot of low areas in my 3-year-old Bermuda sod. Thanks, Ron. Okay, cool. So they're only doing river sand. So there's not really going to be a whole lot of organic material as far as what they're going to be putting down as well. So if they will aerate, and if they'll allow you to put out some Essential G or some other rich compost, you want to use something that doesn't have a bunch of trash in it. So Essential G, no garbage in it. Highly recommend it. Great product. That is what I would say to do between the aeration and them actually putting down the sand. If you can also allow them to convince you to put a fertilizer down in between the aeration and the sand going down, that would be good too. The service around here that I've used in the past, like Sandman top dressing, the one that's done my lawn a couple of times, they throw that in there as part of the process. So they will aerate, they'll do a biostimulant, they'll aerate, they will put down a fertilizer, they spray a liquid fertilizer, and then they will top dress it. In years past, they did a granular. This last time they used a liquid. So yeah, it just depends on what all they're going to do. If it's just aerate and sand, in between that aerate and sand, I'll be like, hey man, can I have 10, 15 minutes? Can I just run around the lawn and put some compost down, some essential G down, and a granular fertilizer? If they'll allow you to do that, that's the thing that I would say to do in between those two steps. And be sure to take pictures before, during, and after. You wanna have a record of how the lawn has developed. All right, we got the Lawn Dad up here. Says, "Sup, Ron? Great stuff, man. I appreciate it, Lawn Dad. Thank you for coming to hang out in the live stream. Thanks for taking some time out of your Thursday evening to come by and say hi. We got Zabe, we got Moro in the house. What's going on, Moro? Hopefully you're doing well, sir. Next, we have Clara Texeria. She says, hi, Ron. Love your channel. Total newbie. Cool season, Washington State. See, I like how this question is being asked already. She says, hey, this is where I am. This is the kind of grass I have. Good stuff. Got soil test results and measured my lawn. Wow, plus 10 points. Low nitrogen, potassium, sulfur, and boron. High phosphorus, overwhelmed. What tips on getting started? All right, so you have low nitrogen, potassium. You got enough phosphorus, and you have high phosphorus. You have enough phosphorus in your lawn, so what you need is a fertilizer that has nitrogen, that has potassium, has a bit of sulfur in it, and no phosphorus. So I have a granular that will do that, Clara. I have one that will do that. Unfortunately, in as far as my granular, I don't have one that has boron in it. You can get that. You can spray that in as far as using a micronutrient. So this is what I would do. If you have a broadcast spreader, like to apply a granular fertilizer, what you can go with is, so we'll go to the golf course lawn store, go to shop, and then lawn fertilizer, and then what you're going to want to go with is, you have two options. You can go with Humic Max, which has the number way this works is it's a 1608. So the 16 number is nitrogen. The 0 is the phosphorus, which you don't need any of that. So that has no phosphorus in it. And then finally you have the 8, which is your potassium, right? So 16% nitrogen, 8% potassium. And this also has some sulfur in it as well. I think this is like 3.8%. Let me see here. I'm going to tell you real quick. Let's look at the label together, shall we? So according to the label, this has, let's see here. So you've got, 3.8% sulfur in this, right? So this is going to fix your nitrogen, your potassium, and your sulfur problem. If you want a bit of a micronutrient as well, that's also a non-phosphorus fertilizer, you can consider the stress. This is a nice one too, in that it also has some micronutrients in it. So you have, again, your nitrogen, your potassium, no phosphorus, but it also contains a little bit of iron, a little bit of manganese, and all these fertilizers that I'm showing here, between those two, the stress or the Humic Max, also contain a bit of humic acid. The stress also has the benefit of having some kelp in it. Of the two, given that you're in Washington and you likely have a cool season lawn, what I would say to go with is the stress. That is the one that I would lean towards, this one. Reason being too is the nitrogen that's in this it has more slow release nitrogen, meaning it's going to make itself available to the plant slower than Humic Max will. Again, both of these are excellent, but this is going to produce more growth faster. This is still going to produce great growth, but it's going to release the nitrogen a bit slower, and it's a more complete product than Humic Max's. So for you, especially with you being in Washington and you have cool season grass, the stress, the 12024, as I talk through it more and more, this is the one I'm going to say to go with. And as far as sulfur goes, it has a higher percentage of sulfur, which is what you want, right? So as far as sulfur, This has got 9.5% sulfur. See, so whereas Humic Max is 3.8%, this is 9%, almost 10% sulfur, which is also going to help address that deficiency as well. So I think overall, as we speak through it, you and I work through this together, I think the 12024 is going to be your jam. So I'm going to send that to you here in the chat at Clara. Again, congrats on taking on the challenge of working on your lawn yourself. It's really not that hard. The thing is, you did a soil test, and you did a soil test already, which is you're already way ahead of the game. Because now, when you're applying products like the one I just linked to you there, when you apply that, you're not guessing. Like you're literally giving the soil what it needs, and your lawn is going to thank you for it. So outside of that, lots of mowing is going to be the next recommendation. If you want to also do address the boron deficiency, you can use a liquid micronutrient like Nutrizolve. So again, in the same lawn fertilizer section, right here, this product, this Nutrizolve has all of them. So boron, copper, iron, manganese, molybdenum, a little bit of sulfur, and then and also some zinc as well. So as far as having all your micros, this also has you covered. So you can use this to address your micronutrient deficiency or the boron if you're really concerned about that, and then you use the 12024 to do the heavy lifting. So that is what I would do on your lawn. If you can only do one of them, the 12024 is the one that I would say is the more important of the two. And I will give you the micronutrient as well. So good. So you're all good to go. All right. Next up is Latanja Moore. She says, "Hello, Ron. The manual reel mower was just delivered by Amazon. I'm stuck finishing up work while I watch the live stream. Wish me luck putting it together and giving it a try this weekend." Yeah, it's not going to be that bad, Latanja. It's they are not hard to put together. And you know, I think you sent me pictures of your lawn. I think you did. Yeah. So you guys want to see another top dressing before and after. So this is, let me see if I can do the sequence properly here. Okay, so this is Latanja's lawn. I'm going to see if I can get him right here. This is the before. This is the before. Not bad. You can see the fur babies out in the lawn, styling and profiling, doing his thing. Not bad, right? And then this is the during. This is while she's doing the top dressing. She got her top dressing done, and she is watering it in. You can see her running irrigation there. You know, she old school, man. She got the hose out and just moving the irrigation, the spray around to water it in. And of course, no transformation would be complete without some after photos. So you go from that to now this. Take a look at that color. That is looking sweet. And then she sent me another picture as well, showing off the final work. Take a look here. Take a look at that. That is pretty sweet. I gotta hand it to you, Latanja. Great job. You know, on the top dressing work, the lawn looks great. And the thing is, when you put a reel mower on that, oh, it's gonna get even better. It's gonna get that much better. So good stuff. You got your mower, you got your reel mower, put it together. Here's the thing. When you first get it assembled, start a little bit higher and just work your way down. You know, because a manual reel mower is not hard to use, but learning cadence needs to be like for it to work properly. Does take some adjusting to get used to. So start with it, you know, where it's higher up, where it's still cutting the grass, where it's taking off some, but start with it higher and then just work your height of cut down to the height of cut that you like. You know, I recommend, you know, 3/4 of an inch. That's a good height of cut. 3/4 of an inch to an inch. That will work well. And then as good as this looks now, the color looks fabulous. Great. I mean, the color is really nice on that. It's going to look even better once you start reel mowing. It's going to tighten up and it's just going to look really good. So great work. Keep us posted. Thank you for sending the pictures. I wanted to show everyone the fruits of all your hard labor. So keep going. You are on your way, man. Keep it going. Next up is Alex Ricciano. He says, "Oh, I forgot. I figured out the brown spots in my lawn are where there is serious compaction. Even with the rain, I can't stick a screwdriver in. How would you go about fixing this in a new lawn?" So with the rainfall, it still has softened the ground up some, Alex. So core aeration, you know what I mean? If in your case, it's going to be multiple passes to be able to pull that off. But I mean, that's going to be the way to help solve this problem. You're going to get out there with a core aerator. Ideally, if you can find one, most of them allow you to add weight. Some of them have like a tank you add water to them. Some of them have a standalone weight. If you can, you get one of the ones that take water. You could do that. Maybe you can also rig it somehow to put some extra weight on it to really help those tines penetrate the soil. That will help it, and it may take multiple passes on the lawn to get it to break into the soil and to help relieve that compaction. But yeah, a core aerator is what you're going to want to use. Do not mess around. Don't waste your time with liquid aeration products. I mean, they are fine to use afterwards, but as far as getting a real head start on relieving that compaction, you're going to want to go with mechanical aeration. If you're interested in some tips on doing that, along with a video that shows how I like to go about it, and we have a blog post that talks all about core aeration. I think it's on page 2 now. Yep, there we go. How to core aerate your lawn. Look at that. And it talks about the benefits of doing it, how to do it, make sure, the tips, make sure the ground isn't frozen or hard, the time of year, temperatures, that kind of thing. What to do after you core aerate. Again, essential G and a fertilizer is a good idea. And there you go. So this video is the one I'm talking about that shows the technique that I like to use with a core aerator that makes it a less burdensome process. It makes the process a bit easier. So check this out. I'm going to link it to you here in the chat, and that will get you on your way to getting your lawn in good shape, Alex. So yeah, there's only one way around it. I mean, there's only one way to relieve that compaction, and aeration is what's going to be in the cards for you. So I'm glad you diagnosed it. You got to the bottom of it. Good stuff. All right, next up is we have a question here from Real. Let me see first one here from Real Mowers saying, I'm trying to calibrate a couple broadcast and handheld spreaders. What product would you put in there that won't burn or mess anything up? I would use the product that you intend to use. You know what I mean? You said, I don't want to practice with my Lebanon 14714. If that's what you intend to use in the spreader, that is what you should calibrate it with, Real Mowers. Here's the thing. What you can do is just start very, very light. You know what I mean? Like if the spreader calls for a setting, like on an Earthwave, it calls for a setting of say 10, set it to like 8. Set it to where it's smaller, to where hardly anything is coming out. And then you can work up to you can work out your calibration that way without fear of burning the lawn. What I would say is this: if you're going to go over 1,000 square feet, right? So let's see, for the 14714, I think it's 4 pounds, right around 4 pounds is what it takes. So in that case, what I would do is I would get a 5-pound bucket, stick it on a 5-gallon bucket, put it on a scale, and measure out, and then put like zero the scale and put, like, say 5 pounds of product into it, like 5 pounds of the fertilizer into the bucket, right? Because even though you're gonna be looking to apply say 4 pounds per 1,000 square feet, you don't want to do exactly 4 pounds because the hopper doesn't empty out all the way evenly. So having that extra pound in there to make sure that it's progressing smoothly through the spreader is a good idea. So measure out just only 5 pounds, and then you'll measure out, let's say, a 20 by 50 foot section of your lawn, right? Because that's 1,000 square feet. And then whatever the setting is, maybe start a little bit smaller, and then walk that section with the 5 pounds of product in there, right? If you go a little bit heavy, it's okay, because the rate that I'm telling you, like that, the lower end of the application rate for that the 14714 or for Humic Max, the rates that I recommend, is going to have you putting out about a 1/2 pound of nitrogen. So even if you went a little bit heavier, you'll end up putting out like 6/10 or 7/10 pound of nitrogen. You're still safe. You're not going to burn the lawn. But you can do this. You can repeat this process a couple of times. It really shouldn't take more than 2 to 3 times to get your setting dialed in with that particular spreader, with the fertilizer that you're going to be applying, because every spreader can be a little bit different. Like the Earthwave spreaders, I find to be pretty good as far as from spreader to spreader, the settings being about where they should be. If you have a Scott spreader, those do tend to have a little more variation in them. So I would say I would calibrate the product that you intend to use with the spreader that you intend to apply it with, and just put just enough, put a pound more in the spreader than what you intend to apply over 1,000 square feet. And when you walk 1,000 square feet, if you get halfway done, or you get like 3/4 of the way done, you're looking at it, you say, wow, I'm not going to make it. Setting's too heavy. If you get 3/4 of the way there and you're like, wow, hardly anything's come out, setting's too light. So you can just adjust that accordingly. And literally after do this, 2 or 3 times, you'll 2 or 3 rounds of this, you'll be able to get the setting dialed in just right. And you'll know going forward, hey, this setting, this fertilizer, this setting, good to go. You know what I mean? So that's how I would go about doing that to get it dialed in as good as you can, while minimizing risk to your lawn. We got a question here from King Steady. Says, is it possible to make common Bermuda look good? Yes, yeah, of course, you can make common Bermuda look good. It's you just, like, if you're real mowing it, I'll put it this way. The rules for making common Bermuda look good are the same rules for making hybrid Bermuda look good, or the same rules for making fescue look good. The more you mow it, the better it's going to look. Now, is the leaf going to be as fine as a hybrid? No. But if you mow common Bermuda at an inch, 3/4 of an inch, somewhere in there, it can look really good. And it's just, if you keep up with your mowing frequency, it's gonna be a great looking stand of grass. You know what I mean? I mean, in other words, your lawn, your common Bermuda mowed 2 to 3 times a week this time of year is going to look better than a hybrid Bermuda lawn that's only mowed once a week, even though it's common Bermuda. So it really is in the mowing. Yes, the grass type, the texture of the leaf and the color, that is a thing, but it really comes down to mowing. Like, mowing masks a lot of stuff. Like, if you're mowing more, it's going to look good. So I would say make sure you're feeding it properly. Make sure you're giving it good diet of nitrogen, enough N to keep it going well. Growth regulator. Primo Max is a great product to use on common Bermuda if you are certainly good. Common is what you have. The application rate for Primo for common is quite a bit higher. It's 0.75 per thousand per month. So you're going to want to take that rate and cut it in half. So you're going to be at like 0.38-ish, thereabouts. And that's if you're applying on the 1st and the 15th. And so between Primo, a good nutrient program, and regular mowing, you can make a common Bermuda lawn look great. So don't think that I have common Bermuda. I can't, my lawn can never look good. That's just simply not true. If you get out there and you mow it, you take care of it, it can look awesome. So hope that helps, sir. Definitely hit me up if you have any other questions. Next up, we have Tony Israel. He says, hey, Ron, I've noticed small black beetles on the surface of the lawn, dead on site. Thank goodness I applied Caravan G 2 weeks ago. Or whatever they are. Looks like Caravan's doing the job. I didn't see what your follow-up is. I don't see your follow-up, Tony. So, but if I see it, we'll revisit it. But yeah, I'm glad to hear that the insecticide that you used is knocking out the insects. That's good. Excellent. Phyllis Lawrence is up here. She says, hi, cuz, welcome. Hey, Phyllis, thanks for coming to hang out. I appreciate you on the live stream. Thank you so much for the love and support coming in on Facebook as well. And then next up, we got Omar Garcia. He says, I forgot to mention my house faces west, so it gets blasted all day with sun, which is why I want warm season in the front and cool season in the back. KBG I have now is super demanding on water. I gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. I mean, if you got an area that gets a little bit less sunlight, I mean, KBG still needs sunlight, but it gets a little less sunlight. That's that can, if it cool season grass like a fescue, like a rye, like Kentucky bluegrass, can be a good option. And then the area that gets, to your point, to use your words, get blasted with sunlight for a lot of the day, Bermuda or zoysia will do very well there. Brent Mattingly is up next. He says, hey, Ron, I have some crabgrass or Dallas grass in my fescue. Is it okay to spray with tenacity with the temps being between 90 to 100 here in Oklahoma? I don't recall if tenacity has any temperature restrictions, Brent. I don't believe so. I've read the label a couple of times, and I don't recall seeing a temperature restriction for tenacity. That said, if you're just spot spraying, just the crabgrass, it should be okay. Again, you're likely going to get some mild discoloration in the grass around the weed that you're targeting, but if you're just spot spraying, it should be all right. As far as Dallas grass, tenacity is not going to do a whole lot against that. So I know Dallas grass, people think Dallas grass and crabgrass look similar. I don't really find so. I mean, they look kind of similar. I mean, in other words, like, I guess Dallas grass looks more like crabgrass than, say, like nutsedge looks like crabgrass. I will give you that, but the two look fairly different. So can you do it? Yes. Will you likely get some mild discoloration that will be temporary to the lawn and the surrounding area that you spray? Yes. So, but the thing with crabgrass is it's easier to control. When it is younger than when it gets older. You could try tenacity. You could also go with like quinclorac. That will work as well for crabgrass. Again, with the temperatures that high, you are likely going to get a little bit of discoloration if you decide to go forward with quinclorac against the crabgrass. And again, if it is Dallas grass that you have, dig it out. Get a shovel, get a weeding tool. That's going to be your best bet for eliminating Dallas grass from your lawn. But crabgrass, there are options to selectively control it in a residential lawn. For Dallas grass, not so much. Next up is Don Vasquez. He says, "Do the golf greens in your area use bent grass or Bermuda?" I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that, Don. I am not sure if they have bent grass or Bermuda. I know there are some that have like a dwarf. There's a dwarf Bermuda that some of them use, but I don't know. I don't know if anyone around here that uses bent grass. That's a good question. I don't know. I don't know of anyone that use bent grass. I do know of some that use like a dwarf Bermuda, but not a bent grass. So it's a good question. I'll find out for you. I can ask what's near me. Chickpeas nearby, and there's a few more. There's a few other courses that are nearby here. I can ask them what they use for their greens. All right. Next is Don. I think actually we already answered their question. So I'll have to look into that, Don. And the next up is Scott Silver. She says, "Hey Ron, thanks for the advice on my low potassium and product advice. Looking forward to receiving some Stress 024. Awesome, Scott. Happy to help out. Let me know how it works out for you. The results or the response from that fertilizer have been, overwhelmingly positive. Really, all the Lebanon fertilizers. I mean, it's not the cheapest stuff, but it is very, very good. It's very good stuff. It's very good, very excellent product. They do a really good job making fertilizer. So I think you'll be very happy with the results you get from the product." Next up is Mark Luna. He says, "Hello, Ron. I have Bermuda. Weather here is in the hundreds. That's hot. I have a nuts edge problem. I have certainty coming tomorrow. Will I have issues using it on those temps? Planning on spot spraying in the evening. If you're just spot spraying, it's going to at 100-degree temperatures. It's not going to take very much. Like 2 to 3 scoops of certainty of the small scoops is going to absolutely devastate the sedges with those types of temperatures. I have not gotten discoloration from spraying certainty to control sedges in my lawn when temps are in the 90s. I mean, we don't get hundreds here consistently in Georgia very much. We may have a week or two where you have like some days where it gets in the hundreds. So you might get some mild discoloration in the area that you're spot spraying, but it'll be temporary. But the sedges are absolutely going to get crushed by it. So I would say that just, it's a worthwhile trade-off is what I'm trying to say. It's not going to kill your grass, but you might get some mild discoloration that'll be temporary, if you decide to go forward with that. So it's really your call. If it were me, I would get rid of the sedges. I would take the slight hit to green in that area and control the sedges, because certainty does a great job against it. That this time of year, when you do an application, it's going to absolutely smoke it, and you won't have to deal with it again for this season. So hope that helps, sir. If you decide to, if you really want to, it may help a bit, cause a bit more discoloration in the grass. But as far as really, getting the sedges and taking them out, if you can mix a little bit of surfactant with certainty, that's going to help you get better control against the sedges too. If you want to omit the surfactant, you could do that and then just see. I mean, with 100-degree temps, it's still going to work very well. But if you omit surfactant, it's going to be, the likelihood of it discoloring your lawn is going to be reduced versus if you do have surfactant. But also the herbicide doesn't work quite as well without it. So it's really your call. If you want to try it first, you want to try spraying certainty first without surfactant, given that you have 100-degree temps, and see what kind of, that's not certainty. Spraying certainty, not since you have 100-degree temps and want to see what kind of results you get. I wouldn't be mad at you. I mean, worst case, 3 weeks from now, you do another application with a little bit of surfactant, and that'll knock it out. Or if you just say, hey, you know what, I'm fine with it. I don't care if I have a little bit of discoloration that's temporary, then mix certainty and a little bit of spreader sticker, and the sedges will be gone. We'll get rid of them. All right, so we have another super chat. Let me get down here and grab that really quick. This one is from Mr. Omar Garcia. Thank you so much, Omar. I really do appreciate it.
Super chat received.
He said, I sent you a picture of my KBG on Insta that was mowed as of 5 minutes ago. Grew it from seed, but I can't hand water. What zoysia would you recommend? I can't look at the pictures on Instagram right now because I'm streaming on Instagram, so I can't move over. It would break the stream. So I will get an answer for you, Omar. I will look after the live stream is over, and I'll get you an answer. As far as zoysia types, I'll tell you, I don't like, I'll tell you the ones that I don't like. I mean, so Xeon and Emerald would be at the top of my list. One of those two would be at the top of my list. Look at them and decide which one looks better to you. The zoysias that I am not as much of a fan of, I don't really like, I don't like the way El Toro looks as much. and also compadre, which I have on the back patio in a little pot. I don't like how that one looks as well. Again, it's me personally. There's people that probably love El Toro and love compadre, but for me, I'm not a fan of the El Toro because the leaf is a bit thicker. Is a little bit thicker than I would like. Whereas Xeon and Emerald is a finer leaf. So for me, those would be on my short list. I would look at those two. Look at the two of them. See which one you like better from a color and texture perspective, and go with that. So I hope that helps, Omar. Thank you for the super chat. I really do appreciate it. All right, next up is Mac Zena. Says, hey, Ron, what would you recommend? This comes from Instagram. What would you recommend for tall fescue maintenance during the summer? I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina. Thanks. I would mow it. I would use a moisture manager. And then if you're going to fertilize, I would use a slower release fertilizer like the 12024. So, fescue this time of year, fescue can do all right in the summer, but there's no reason to push, a lot of quick release nitrogen through it this time of year. So I would go with something like the 12024 for feeding. And then make sure you're mowing it with sharp equipment because that's going to help minimize the chances of disease problems. And then if you can get a moisture manager down like Hydrotain or Foreplay, then it's going to go through the summer without too much problems at all. Make sure you keep enough water on it, feed it properly, and then mow it. That's going to be pretty much the same thing you do with Bermuda, with the exception that with Bermuda you can use a more aggressive fertilizer like Humic Max. You could do that. You could use Humic Max on fescue, but I feel that the 12024 is a better fit for cool season lawns in the summer than something like Humic Max. So hope that helps. If you want a link to where you can find them, I'll just send you a link to the collection of where they all are, and you can find them right here. So hope that helps. I really do appreciate you watching on the gram. If you need anything else, let me know. Next is Anna. She's back. Actually, no, am I wrong? Let me see. Well, Anna, I'll answer your question as I'm going up to find the next person. She said, thank you so much for doing Q&A and for your videos. Very informative. You're very, very welcome, Anna. Thank you so much for watching, because if you were not here to watch, I'd be talking to myself. And that would be a lot less fun. It'd be a lot less fun talking to myself than talking to you guys. All right, next is let's see what we got here. I think we got Charles and Denton. Charles and Denton says, best grass seed options, both warm and cool season for Southeast Chattanooga, Tennessee areas. I do have irrigation, but hard lawn. It depends, like it depends on what you like. If you want something that's going to grow in quick, let's talk about cool season first. If you want something that's going to grow in very quickly, fescue. And fescue looks pretty, but it's going to be a taller grass. So if you want like a taller grass, then a fescue lawn. If you want a grass that you can real mow at shorter heights, then ryegrass or Kentucky bluegrass. Kentucky bluegrass will likely tolerate the heat a bit better than the ryegrass will. So it really depends. It's a tough question to answer because without knowing what your preference is. If you like a taller grass, if you're rotary mowing it, then fescue, it's gonna, it and ryegrass are both gonna establish really quickly, but the fescue is gonna tolerate heat a bit better than ryegrass will. And KBG is also a great looking grass type, a bit slower and longer to establish from seed, but the advantage it has is that it can be real mowed, whereas fescue, I guess technically you could real mow it at 3 inches, but if you want to mow it short, you can't really do that with fescue. For warm season grass, Bermuda. If you really want to do it from seed, then Bermuda. Bermuda would be a good option. Yukon or Monaco, either of those will work well. Unless I can convince you to go hybrid, which is going to be sod, and that's going to mean going to say Tahoma 31, which would be a nice option. So if you're set on seed, then fescue or KBG, and then if you want if you're for your warm season grass, I'm partial to Bermuda, so I would say Yukon or Monaco if you want a seeded option, and if you want the option that I would go if I were going to do your lawn, I would say go with sod and do Tahoma 31. So hope that helps, Charles and Denton. I appreciate the question, and let me know which one you end up going with. Doug 350Z says buffalo grass might be an option up north too. Yep, I'm not sure that I've ever seen buffalo grass in person. The videos I've seen of buffalo grass have been in it's more popular in Australia. Like you see, or I don't say it's more popular, but it's popular in Australia. Like you see some lawns that are buffalo grass lawns in Australia. So I've not seen one in person myself here in the U.S. We got Higgy pop up next saying, let's all hit the like button. It's free. Thank you, Higgy. It is free. It's a free way to help support the channel. So if you guys are enjoying the live stream, then hit the like button. Costs you absolutely nothing. How about that? Not many things you can do in life that can help someone else out. That is absolutely gratis, right? Teddy T is up next. He says, hey, I'm in Florida. I have not yet fertilized this season, but I'm about to feed it with Milo and then spot spray some broadweeds. I'm also going to put in some plugs in some bare areas. Okay, my question is, do you think I'm too late for the ultimate growth this season, or should I see some progress on my lawn still? You should still see some progress on your lawn still, Teddy. What I would say is if you're looking to get the lawn to, if you're looking forward to start picking up growth faster, Milo is not what I would use. I would use a synthetic blend fertilizer like, I'll show you here. So if you come over here to the Golf Course Lawn Store in the lawn fertilizer section, I would go with one of these three, based on your soil test results, Humic Max, the Complete 14714, or the 12024. Any of these are going to produce a color response faster than Milorganite is. If you said, I want Milo because I want an organic fertilizer, that's more my jam, then I would go with the Miramichi or Premium Organic for a couple of reasons. One, the cost per application is less than Milo, and it's a better product in pretty much every way. So it's a balanced fertilizer, meaning you have equal amounts of nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. It has a microbial package in it. It's got some humate in it. It's got some iron in it. It's got some calcium in it. It's got a lot. It's got a lot more going for it than Milorganite does. And per 1,000 square feet, it's actually cheaper. So this is with it being shipped to your door, right? So by far, if you want like a non-toxic option, this is what I would do. If you're looking to get a color response faster, then Humic Max or the Stress 12024. Either one of those would be good options if you don't need phosphorus. If you do need phosphorus, then the Complete 14714. So that is what I would say. Personally, I wouldn't do Milo, mainly because right now it's just not really a good deal, and there's better options that cost less. And if you're looking to get growth faster, go with like a synthetic blend, because you got to figure too. Also, in addition, with these fertilizers, Teddy, you're also not only getting nitrogen and potassium, but you're also getting humic acid, which is a biostimulant, which helps the fertilizer work better. And in these two guys, like in the Complete 14714 and in the Stress, you also get kelp, right? So it's as far as comparing these to Milo, they're not even in the same universe as far as the benefits it's going to have to your soil, and then by extension your grass. So that is what I would do. I would look at one of those. I will send you a link here to where you can find those, because that's what I think you're gonna is a better fit for what you're trying to do in your lawn. So I hope that helps. We got a super chat here. Let me get down and grab that really quick. This one is from Jim, and then Jim, this is your very first super chat according to what my software is telling me. So if that is so, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it.
Super chat received.
You should appreciate your content. Thank you, Jim. I really do appreciate it. You letting me know and watching the content, it means a lot. There's a lot of content that's uploaded to YouTube, so you definitely have options. So I appreciate you guys taking some time, out of your Thursday evening to watch or to come hang out with me, talk about turf and also to watch some of the other longer form content as well. So I really do appreciate it. Anna is up next. She says, thank you so much for doing the Q&A and the videos. Very informative. You're very, very welcome, Anna. Thank you for watching. And then Veda, she says, Golf Course Lawn Store, thank you. You're very welcome, Veda. No problem at all. Hopefully the answer was helpful. And again, congrats on taking on the challenge of working on your lawn yourself. Hopefully the guidance is going to be useful for you. Next up, we got Mr. Tom Hoffenkamp. He says, hello, Ron, and fellow lawn enthusiasts. Yes. Just leveled my lawn with sand on Monday. You know what? We need to start a new tradition. Whenever I get from going forward, because normally whenever we have gear, like someone gets some new gear, like, some new mowing equipment or an edger or something, we clap it up. Whenever someone tells me, they did some top dressing, we're going to start clapping it up for that too, because that's a big accomplishment and it's worth acknowledgement. So just finished leveling my lawn on Monday, mowed today, Left wheel marks. It's okay. Should I worry, or will my daily lawn leveling tool dragging and brushing take care of this? It'll be just fine. No worries at all, Tom. The little wheel marks you left in the lawn are going to be just fine. With you dragging it in, it's going to get all evened out. I would not worry about it at all. Let not your heart be troubled. It will be just fine. Next up is Heartfelt Fashion. He says, hey, Ron, do you treat your vanity strip differently than the rest of your lawn? My vanity strip is greening slower. No, it gets the same treatment. I'm trying to think, is there anything? Nope. Same fertilizer, same primo, same mowing. I will say this. The vanity strip will, and here's the thing. The vanity strip does really show the vanity of all of this, right? So with the vanity strip will typically get mowed, it gets multiple passes. Because what happens is, you guys know how if you mow in one direction, it you'll get your light stripes if you're looking at the grass laying away from you, and it gets darker if it's laying towards you. With my mowing pattern, normally I end up with a light dark. I end up with let me make sure I get this right. I end up with, because I start from where the driveway is, I end up with dark, light, dark, and coming up the street, I prefer it to look the other way. So even though I'll make up the first pass that way, I'll go over the vanity strip again and lay the stripes in another direction so it looks the way I like it to look whenever I'm driving up to the house. So that's the only thing that's really different. The rest of the lawn doesn't get that kind of treatment. The vanity strip does, but as far as inputs, it gets the same amount of primo, the same amount of fertilizer, the same biostimulants. It's all the same thing. Now, you say yours is greening up slower. The one thing you got to realize too is that the vanity strip is also exposed to more heat. So if you're not watering, if it's not getting as much water, it could cause it to struggle, faster than other parts of your lawn, because it's basically like a cocoon of concrete. So that could be a thing. But on my lawn, Granger, what I normally find is that the vanity strip is the first areas to green up and the last areas to go dormant. It's what I find in my case. So not sure what's going on, but if the watering is on point, the inputs are all the same, and you're mowing it properly, it really shouldn't be struggling. I mean, typically, again, areas that are near concrete tend to do better, because at least for warm season grass, because it's got that heat to help fuel the microbial activity and everything else to help the lawn do well, help the turf in that area do well. So I have not experienced any negatives with my vanity strip compared to other parts of my lawn. It typically is the best looking parts of the lawn. So hope that helps. Tom says brooming, not brushing. Yeah, it's safe. It's fine, Tom. It's no worries. I mean, you got to realize too, there's a couple of things. You getting out there with a leveling rake or getting out there with a broom to help move it in is going to help, get rid of those little tire marks. And also when it rains, that's going to also help the sand settle. That too. Between everything you're doing, you're not creating ruts in the lawn. It's going to be just fine. Nothing to worry about. Let's see here. K Jury says, hey, Ron, do you recommend getting a relief grind when getting your reel sharpened? So here's the thing. So there's a relief grind, there's a spin grind. Which one of them can you backlap? I think it's the relief grind that you can backlap, right? And spin grind you cannot, or is it the other way? I'm trying to remember which is which. On my Allet, when Michael sharpened it, he put a relief. I think it is a relief grind, because that's what he specifically said. I believe it is relief grind is what he put on my Allet. So he reached out to the manufacturer, asked them what angles the bed knife should be ground to, and also for the reel. And he set it up to where it can be backlapped. So I want to say it's a relief grind. I'm pretty sure. Which grind should you do? Whichever the manufacturer says. So if they say that your reel and bed knife, they recommend spin grinding it, then do it that way. If they say relief grind it, do it that way. I would listen to whatever they recommend for your particular mower. I'm fairly certain my mowers are set up with relief grinds. Next up is DeMarculis Thompson. He says, greetings, Ron Henry, or on Happy Friday Eve. Thanks for helping my wife with the perfect Father's Day gift. You are very, very welcome. You're very welcome. She emailed me. I think it was your wife that emailed me. She says, I'm looking for, I need to get actually what she did was this. She says, you know what, Ron, you know what would be great? You need to have a gift card with your face on it it'd be great for gifts. I'm like, first of all, no, my face on a gift card. No one wants that. I mean, I don't even want to see that. So I'm sure you guys don't want to see that. And I'm like, gift cards? We already have them. They're on the store. So I pointed her to it, and she was able to pick one of. I think it was your wife that was the one that reached out to me, that emailed and asked about that. So yeah. All right, next up is Phyllis. She says, no problem, you are so welcome. Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate it, Phyllis. And there's other things you could be doing on a Thursday night. You could be watching TV or whatever people do on Thursday nights. You know what I mean? But instead, you are here. Even when it's outside our normal time. Because, I mean, I mess with you guys. It's normally Friday nights. I'm sure you guys are like creatures of habit. You have things, you have your Friday night plan, and here I am. I'm taking that away from you, and I'm moving it up a day earlier, right? And yet you guys still show up. It really means a lot. All right, let's see here. C. Pims is up next. He says, hey, Ron, just found your channel recently. All good stuff. I wanted to hear your opinion on best ways to break up or have better drainage for a hard clay soil. Is gypsum or lime worth applying as well? Lime is worth applying if your soil is acidic. If your soil pH is acidic, meaning you need to raise your pH level, applying lime, great idea. Gypsum can also help with relieving compaction some too, but really the best way, CPIMS, is to core aerate it. So if you want a way to relieve compaction in your lawn, and if you've got the budget to do it, thing one I would say is aerate it. That's going to help relieve compaction quite a bit. But then if you can aerate it and top dress it, that is going to do a lot for improving the drainage, even in a lawn that has clay soil. You know what I mean? So that's, if you can aerate it and then do a top dressing with like a sand soil blend, you're going to be way ahead of the game as far as just improving the drainage, just the way way the lawn looks and everything. That would be my my recommendation. If you can only do one of them, core aeration would be the thing I would say to do. That's going to help you with breaking up compaction in a hard clay soil. As far as making the process easier, if you can wait until there's rainfall, so if it rains like the day before, I mean, like we can control that, right? But if you could make it rain the day before you plan to aerate, that would be ideal. Second to that is if you could irrigate the lawn, run your irrigation or get sprinklers out and water the lawn to help soften the soil a little bit the day before you run the aerator on it. That's going to help the tines further penetrate into the soil. And then for tips on how to core aerate your lawn, or is one way that I like to do it. Again, it's not the only way to core aerate it. There's people that have different techniques, but it's how I like to do it. This video from last year will cover that topic in detail. So it'll give you some tips of how to do it and or how I like to do it and like minimize the headache. Because I see some people aerate their lawns that at least people that aren't pros anyway, they'll get out there. Long short is they'll take the aerator and they'll make a pass in one direction and they'll like stop the aerator. Like there's like a big, it's like a big hand, like a big bar that you pull up to like raise the aerator up to push the wheels down, which lifts the tines out of the soil. So what people will do is they will, let's say the My Soil Test Kit is your lawn, right? They'll make a pass. Let me get this so both you guys can see it. Let's go like that. Cool. So now the Instagram can see it and YouTube can see it. They'll say this is your lawn. We're going to aerate this lawn, right? They'll make a pass like this will go across, and then they'll stop and they'll like wrestle the aerator around and then drop it down and then go back this way. They'll just go back and forth like that, which that is fine if you're mowing because stripes, and we love stripe action, right? But for aerating, what I find is easier, that's a lot less work, is just to do overlapping ovals, right? So start the aerator and then just simply keep going and just turn it and just keep going to like right here. And then now when you come back to here, you aerated this part right here. So you're going to go up a little bit more, overlap just slightly and go this way and then go down and then same thing and go back. So what you end up doing is I didn't do a great job of showing it here, but I mean, if you guys look at the introduction, like if you guys watch the video, the intro to this video to the live stream, when I'm the drone shot, that is what I'm doing. And this video that I will link to you as well also will show that, where you're just basically doing overlapping ovals. And what that allows you to do is you keep the aerator moving the entire time. So you may have to do like a cleanup pass, like just near the edges. That's about it. But for the most part, you do overlapping circles, and the aerator's just moving the entire time, and you get the job done faster, and it's quite a bit less work. But for your case, CPIMS, that's what I would say: get an aerator, rent an aerator, or pay someone to do it. That'll work too. But core aeration is going to be the way. That's going to be the best way to relieve compaction in a hard clay soil, and then if you can top dress it afterwards, that much better. All right, next up is Brian Haley. He says, hey, Ron. What's going on, Brian? Cool avatar, man. He says, hey, Ron, I have a couple of areas of my lawn that have some thinning. Is that possibly due to the tree root intrusion? Yes. Any suggestions for tree root issues? Not, and I mean, to get and keep the tree? Not a whole lot. I mean, you can... Grass does not grow well under trees for a lot of reasons. One, to your point, the trees consume, being a big plant, right? We call it a tree, but really all this is a really big plant. Is it consumes a lot. It consumes a lot of resources. It consumes the sunlight because it casts a pretty big shade in that area. And then to your point, the roots that tend to be near the surface make it difficult for the grass to drive roots into the ground. So for a lot of reasons, trees are bad news when it comes to growing grass under them. So if you want grass, I mean, you really need you need to decide whether you want to have one or the other. You know what I mean? If you have a really big tree, what I would say is just give up on the grass in that area if you want to keep the tree, and then just do like a mulch bed or do like some ground cover, like some decorative grass that does well, or plants that do well with shade in the area where you would normally want to have grass. Because if your lawn is, you know what kind of grass you have, but if your lawn is Bermuda is not going to do well in shade. It's just not possible. It's like mayonnaise and ice cream. Like, some things don't go together. Like mayonnaise and ice cream just doesn't know. Like I would imagine no one on this live stream has ever eaten mayonnaise and ice cream. Why? Because they just don't go together. That's how Bermuda is and sunlight. Bermuda and shade just don't go together. They're like mayonnaise and ice cream. Don't mix. So you have a couple of options. Option one, eliminate the tree. You probably don't want to do that. Option two is just you can just decide that you're going to put down some shrubs or some ground cover to kind of make that area look nice, but it's not going to be grass. Or option three, do none of the two and just live with it. Live with the fact that it's going to be thin. That's probably the option that you don't want. But grass and trees, and especially big trees, especially if it's warm season grass, does not tend to work out so well. You know what I mean? So that's hopefully that helps. I think it's your first time I've not seen your name before on the live stream. So if it's your first time, welcome. But that's what you're really looking at. You have to really make a decision between whether you're going to have the tree or you're going to have grass in that area. So hope that helps. I mean, if you decide you're going to go like try and hack the root out, you know what I mean? You do that, but then one, you're not going to get all of it, and then you're going to be damaging the tree. You can make the tree get sick, and it can eventually die. So you have to pick which one do you want. You want a tree, you want a grass. You want a really big plant, or you want a bunch of itty bitty plants that are more decorative that we can mow and make looking nice. So you have to decide which one is really for you. Mike CS is up next. He says, "What would you get if you had absolutely no choice but to use a rotary mower to continue mowing low?" Here's the thing. I don't know a lot. I mean, as far as like rotary mowers, I look at what Honda offers. Although Honda, I think, is discontinuing the rotary mower line, or look at something from Toro. So I look at look at Honda or Toro, and look at which one of them can mow shorter. I would also want to get one that has a striping kit because you took away my real mower from me. So I mean, I at least can have a striping kit, right? I can have the rotary mower, but I get to also have stripes. Can we do that? I would, yeah. So Honda or Toro, or I look at one of, now if budget is no option, if you're saying that like there's no budget restriction, then I would get like one of these. I would get like an Allet, one of these uplifts from Allet. Hang on, I can show you really quick. These guys are awesome, but bring your checkbook. So if you go to shop, and where is it? I think it's under their pro mowers. Yeah, so this guy. So this is technically a rotary mower. It's technically a rotary mower, so it counts. It's a rotary mower. See right there, rotary mower. But it's propelled by a rear drum. So you see back there, it's drum propelled. So I could use one of these guys and still get some nice stripes. Look at that. Very nice stripes. You know what I mean? And it's a rotary. So if I could have you said I could use any rotary mower I want, like money's no option, like that's the one I'm going to get. So outside of that, something from Toro or Honda. But yeah, the uplift is pretty sweet. It looks pretty sweet. All right. Next up is Devin. He's up tonight. He says, "Hey Ron, Thursday night turf talk." Yeah, man. So it's tonight because tomorrow I have a karate event, so I can't do the live stream tomorrow night. So instead of skipping, I was last week to do a survey and say, hey, should we skip or have it on Thursday? But I know how demanding you guys are. You're gonna be like Thursday. So instead of like even going through all that headache and wasting everybody's time, I just decided I'm just gonna schedule it for Thursday. And if I get like 5 people to show up, the 5 of us will talk. But you guys are all pretty die hard, and y'all all showed up, man. It's 100 plus people here on a Thursday night, which is pretty awesome. So thank you for all the love and support. All right, Two Trillo's up next. He says, happy Thursday, Ron. It's amazing how a single top dressing can help the lawn draining. My backyard is no longer Lake Two Trillo. Isn't that something? I keep telling you guys, I mean, you guys maybe think I'm trying to oversell it. Like the benefits of top dressing, the biggest benefits that I saw is not the fact that the lawn looks like a golf course. It is the drainage, man. It's like, again, literally, this was, do I have a picture of it? I got to find it. This was after like heavy rainfall on Thursday. Before I top dress, that would be around for at least another day. Like it'd be like I'd go to sleep, I'd wake up, it would still be there, and it would look hideous. That's how the lawn would look. It'd take at least 24 hours, probably 36 hours for it to fully go away. Now, literally hours later, once the rain stops, hours later, 3 hours later, it's gone. And as a matter of fact, if you want to see what the lawn looks like today, this is literally a couple of hours before the live stream. As soon as it stopped raining, I got out there and I mowed it, I double cut it, and this is what the lawn looks like. This video is like 2.5, 3 hours old at well, more than that, like 4 hours old at this point. But this is from this afternoon. So the top dressing, if for nothing else, even if you don't real mow your lawn, if for no other reason, the drainage improvements you get from top dressing will surprise you, and that alone makes it worth it to me. Next up, we got Joseph Atkins up. Next, he says, I have a few spots that have suffered from disease, gray leaf spot in my St. Augustine grass in the past month. I have treated with Headway G and Eagle 20W. The disease is starting to go away. Nice. Very nice, Joseph. So what's happening is you use Headway and then Eagle 20. So those have arrested the spread of the disease, which is good. And that's allowing the lawn to now recover. So yeah, that sounds like the fungicides are doing exactly what they're supposed to. All right, so the next question is 2 questions. Can you utilize heavy nitrogen fertilizer like a 2406 since I am recovering from disease? What can I do to help the areas that have thinned out from the disease? So the thing with this, when it comes to recovery, is time. And a heavy nitrogen fertilizer, it really still comes down to the application rate, because you can apply that fertilizer. If you applied it at, let me see here. If I work, I'm not sure how you'd even do that, because that's going to be really low. Let me see, 2 times 0.24. So if you apply that fertilizer at like 2 pounds per thousand, which again, it's kind of hard to do. If you did that, you'd only be applying like half a pound of nitrogen. So even though it's a higher nitrogen fertilizer by percentage, it's still really in the amount of application rate. It's all amount of pounds to the ground. How much product you're putting down on the ground. So if you were applying it at that rate, then no, you're not putting in too much nitrogen. But what I would do is I would not go heavy. I would not try and push a bunch of growth through the lawns trying to recover from disease. If you want to feed it, you can feed it as normal, but I would not go crazy as far as like doing a heavy nitrogen app. You don't want to do that, because believe it or not, a heavy excess nitrogen coupled with a lot of moisture can cause disease problems. And we don't, your lawns are recovering from that. Sure, if you want to feed it, that's okay, but I would not go, when I see in your question here, you use the word heavy nitrogen fertilizer, which kind of makes you feel like you're going to do a heavy app to try and help it to grow in faster. And that's bad news. You really don't want to do that. Like, apply the right amount of nutrient, mow the lawn regularly, and it will recover over time. St. Augustine is a relatively fast growing grass. It is, once you've gotten the disease under control, which it sounds like you're doing, it will recover from that, over time. So time is your friend. That's the most important thing. Regular mowing, important. Regular, giving it enough nitrogen, like adequate amounts, but not too much, is also important. But just all things in the right ratios. Not don't get out there and try and fix the problem by going super heavy with the nitrogen application. But if you're using that 2406, what I would say is, like, I would go for like 2 pounds per thousand, man. I would go light, at least for the lighter for the first application, which still equates to half a pound of nitrogen. Or you could go with like a lower percentage nitrogen fertilizer, like, for example, like humic max, or like a 16% nitrogen, or like a 12% nitrogen, something like that. That's going to allow you to put out more, like you're gonna be able to put out more product, but yet still achieve the same application rate of around a half a pound of nitrogen per 1,000 square feet. You see what I'm saying? Because doing 2 pounds, it's easy to say, yeah, you just apply like, the 2406 at like 2 pounds per thousand. That's gonna get you half a pound of nitrogen, but it's kind of hard to do. Like, putting out 2 pounds of granular fertilizer over 1,000 square feet is not an easy thing to pull off. Whereas doing like 3 pounds or 4 pounds over 1,000, bit easier. You know what I mean? So, hope that helps. So to answer your question, yes, but just don't go heavy. Aim for like half a pound of N is what I would say. I have gotten good results doing that when I've had large patch in my lawn, and once the lawn is recovering, the next time I feed it, when it was the normal time to feed it, I'd do like a special app just for that. I use my normal rate, which is around half a pound of nitrogen for my granular fertilizer, and that was good. That was helped to support new growth without creating more disease problems, creating like relapses and just causing issues in the lawn. So hope that helps. Sorry you're dealing with it, but at least you're on the recovery, right? Which is good. Brian Haley says, "Hey Ron, any suggestions for an entry-level reel mower for a beginner?" Yeah, so if you're looking so I'll give you two options. If you're looking for a push reel mower, Scott's makes they call it the Pro. It's like a 17-inch, an 18-inch, I'm sorry. An 18-inch 7-blade reel mower, which is a good option. I think Latan just picked one of those up. I had the 5-blade version of this in a 20-inch, and it's a good mower to start out with, just to see if reel mowing is for you. So if you get this mower, I'll send you a link here in the chat. Actually, CPIMS, I never sent that. So there's CPIMS. And then also, what is your name? Brian Haley, reel mower. So yeah, so if you're looking for something that's not going to break the bank, and it's a way to, like, training wheels for reel mowing, you could go with something like this. It is going to produce a great cut. You're still going to get a good cut. It's going to look better than what a rotary mower can produce. And the idea behind this, right, is it's a good way of seeing if reel mowing really is for you. Because unlike when you're rotary mowing a lawn, if you're reel mowing, you really got to commit to mowing really twice per week at a minimum. When it gets this time of year, when it gets hotter, you're out there every 2 days if you really want to keep the lawn looking good. So if you have a mower like this, which is not that expensive to get into, $140, this is a way for you to see, hey, is this for me? Is this something that I want to do? Even though, I think I want to reel mow my lawn, but do I have the time? Am I going to hate it after I do this for 2-3 weeks where I regret doing it? Better to make that decision and have the regret with a $140 decision versus a $500, $600, $700 at a minimum, up to a multi-$1,000 decision if you go out and you buy a brand new one. If you have already said, you know what, I don't need the training wheels, I want to go for I want to step into the big leagues, I want to get a powered reel mower, then a California Trimmer, a True Cut, or McLean, those are all good mowers. Of the three, the True Cut is the one that I had the most experience with, and I really like it. I like the propulsion system of the True Cut. It's also it's built like a tank. It's mower's gonna last you a really long time. Here recently, True Cuts have been harder to come by, like as far as being able to find them. It's been tougher. Getting parts for them here recently has been a lot harder. So, a trimmer is like I know Real Rollers has California trimmers. Like they get them in stock. They may have some in stock now. So if you're looking to buy a brand new powered reel mower, then look up Real Rollers. Give Lee a call, and they can set you up with a trimmer. And parts for those are not as difficult to come by these days as True Cut parts. So that's tier 2. So tier 1 is a push reel mower. Tier 2 is like a McLean, a trimmer, or a True Cut. Tier 3 is, or like your S tier reel mowers are going to be like greens mower, right? So you're getting into your Toro, or a Toro Greensmaster, or a John Deere, like the John Deere series are good, or an Allet. The thing that's going to be different about those mowers compared to the 3 that I listed earlier is that the propulsion system of all those mowers, they're all propelled by a rear drum, which means gorgeous stripe action. I mean, like otherworldly stripes. Like if you want stripes that look like this, if you want stripes that look like this, you need a greens mower or a drum style or drum propelled mower. It's going to be tough to get stripes like that using even a True Cut or a McLean or a trimmer. Reason being is you notice that when you look at the stripes, for the most part, there's not really any hot spots in it. I mean, if you look really closely, you might find, because this is double wide stripes. And if you look in the middle, you might be able to make out some areas where I overlap them a little bit. But for the most part, if you look at that, you don't really see too many hot spots. And that is what a drum propelled greens mower is going to produce. So as far as like the absolute best stripes and best cut by far, an Allet, a Toro Greensmaster, or a John Deere are going to produce that. Those are going to be your best cutting mowers. Beneath that are going to be your true cuts, your trimmers, and then your McLeans, and then beneath that are going to be like a push reel mower. But any of them, even a push reel mower, is going to produce a better cut than a rotary will. So there is that. I mean, unless you get into like something like the Upwork, something like this, right? Which essentially is a rotary mower, but it's really, I mean, it's a rotary mower, but not really. I mean, it's a super expensive, $15,000 mower, and it produces an incredible cut. Like this will cut at very short cutting heights, but it's also 15 grand. So there is that. So hope that helps, sir. Threw a lot at you, but you got everything from beginning to to greens mower, and somewhere in there you can decide which way you want to go. As far as what to expect to pay, I didn't cover that. So for a true cut, a McLean, or a trimmer, you're going to look at in the $3,000 price range these days if you buy one brand new with a roller. If you buy one pre-owned, you can get them for $650 to $1,000. Like I would say, aim to spend around $1,000 to $1,500. That's going to get you a mower that's going to be in pretty good shape. For a greens mower, you want to be more in the $2,000 to $3,500 range to get a good unit. One that's going to be low hours, not a lot of wear and tear. The reel and bed knives still have good life on them. You're going to look you're going to be spending around that. You can get them for less than that, but you may have to put some money into it. So that's something just to consider. So that covers all of it now, I think. So we covered all the mowers, we covered the pricing, we covered the differences in cut. So yeah, you're good. You now know, enough to be dangerous when it comes to selecting a reel mower. And then as far as the powered ones, the only thing I'd tell you, is look for the powered ones. See who can repair it in your area. See who in your area can service like a John Deere or a Greensmaster. Those are going to be pretty easy to find someone that can work on them because they're used on golf courses. So there's going to be a place that can do that. A true cut or a trimmer or a McLean, that you'd want to make sure in your particular area, there's like a shop that works on mowers that can grind and can take care of those. So there is that. If you're in Georgia, you got nothing to worry about. If you're in Northeast Georgia or Atlanta, you got nothing to worry about because there's reel mower shops all over the place, and a lot of them can take care of any of those mowers. All right. So T1000 up next. He says, we do complain sometimes. You do. You guys are a demanding bunch. You guys don't realize. You guys are a demanding bunch. You guys are. That's just how you are. Kevin Barriga says, can I put out pre-emergent twice a year? Yes, I actually recommend it, Kevin. So the times to apply pre-emergent for best results are in the spring, before the average soil temperatures in your area are in the 50s, the mid 50s, and then in the fall, before soil temperatures cross 70 degrees going cooler. So if you're in Northeast Georgia, what I would tell you if you want like a time frame perspective, late January, early February. Like I've done this as early as the first week of February. I put my pre-emergent out, and I get very good results with that. Doing one high rate application at that time of year, I get great control of weeds in my lawn throughout the entire spring and summer. And then in the fall, I would say late August timeframe if you're in this area. But again, the way, if you're trying to be really precise, it's in the springtime before soil temps cross in the mid 50s. And again, the idea is before, not whenever you get out there with a soil thermometer and you're measuring the soil temps. It's like, hey, it's 55 degrees right now. Great time to put my pre-emergent out. Nope, too late. Because at mid 50s is when some of your warm season weeds, like your crabgrass and those types of weeds, begin germinating. So you want the pre-emergent applied and watered in the soil prior to that. So remember, pre-emergent is all of the name. It works best, or it works prior to the weeds emerging. So it's pre-emergent, prior to the weeds emerging, and then you have to have it in the soil for it to control the weeds. And in the fall, before you get too much into the cooler temperatures, when POA really begins to germinate. For me, I found like late August, first week of September is a great time to get your fall pre-emergent out if you're in the Georgia area. A lot of people will say that's a bit early, but you know what? A bit early is better than a bit late when it comes to pre-emergent. If you're a bit late, then you're spending a lot of money on expensive herbicides to control the weeds. Once they've started, then you deal with post-emergent herbicides. So like a good example, right? I'll show you what I'm talking about here. So if you look at, where is the link, there we go. So if you go over to the weed killer section, look at the price of post-emergent herbicides. If you're getting a bottle of Certainty to control POA, $125. A 10 ounce bottle of Celsius, $21 if you get the single-use packets, right? Like these. Let me go switch over to a different camera. Let's do this so that everyone can see. If $21 if you get one of these, $22 if you get one of these smaller ones that cover 2,000 square feet at the high rate, 4,000 at the low rate. right? Or if you get the 10 ounce, then now you're looking at the thick end of like, you know, $170, so expensive, right? If you go over to, you know, cool season herbicides, tenacity, 85, you know, 85, sledgehammer, $70, $80. So killing weeds, controlling weeds after they've emerged and not harming your grass is a lot more expensive than getting over here and getting some pre-emergent. So if you look at the price of a bag of pre-emergent, $70, and that will cover, you know, that's relatively inexpensive to keep weeds out of your lawn. If you have like a 6,000 square foot lawn or smaller, you can get by with like a bottle of prodiamine for like $30. So literally you can spray 30, you can apply $30 worth of pre-emergent over 6,000 square feet in the spring. And that's going to do a good job of like seriously reducing the amount of weed pressure you have, to where if you have to use post-emergent herbicides, it's only spot spraying here and there. But if you don't use pre-emergent, then you're gonna be spending a lot of money on these guys, and it's gonna be a constant battle. You know what I mean? It's gonna be a constant battle because you know you're at that point, if you're not using pre-emergent, you are relying on post-emergent herbicides to control the weeds, and then really your mowing practices to get the turf to really thicken up, to make it difficult for the weeds to reestablish and to take root. So it's a hard life. It's a hard rock life without pre-emergence. I would say you know, don't forego pre-emergent. It's relatively inexpensive as far as herbicides go, and the benefits far outweigh the, you know, little bit of cost that you spend on them. And again, twice per year, spring and fall is what I would do, and yeah, that's going to get you a good result. But as far as which pre-emergence I would use when, in the springtime, you can go with prodiamine or dithiopyr. Dithiopyr has a little bit of reach back for crabgrass, which is kind of nice. In the fall, you can use either one of them too, but really in the fall, if your budget will permit, I would find a couple of friends that you can split a bottle of it with. And if you have warm season grass, because it's only for warm season grass, I would go with a pre-emergent called Spectacle Flow. This is, as far as a pre-emergent for controlling Poanua in warm season grass, it's real. There's not much that's better than this. It's really good stuff. I mean, it's like an 18-ounce bottle. I forget how many acres this treats. This one bottle is like years and years and years and years worth of applications. Even if you have like a 20,000 square foot lawn, this still takes a long time to use this up, which is why I say you want to split it with friends, but it's also quite expensive. So this currently goes for, what is Spectacle going for these days? Let's see. It's well north of $300 a bottle right now, but let's see what the current price of Spectacle Flow. It is going for $340 is what one bottle of this goes for. It's super expensive, but frankly, honestly, it's worth it. Like, it's like, especially if someone you can split this with, this is incredible stuff for keeping your lawn weed free in the fall and in the spring. So in the fall, that is what I would use on my lawn, and what I use on my lawn. And in the springtime, dithiopyr or prodiamine will do a good job. So hope that helps. All right, next up we have Anna Duran. She's about my seeding question earlier. I'm in Wyoming. Okay. So being in Wyoming, you're going to want to be on a cool season grass, Anna. So fescue, Kentucky bluegrass, or ryegrass. Fescue is pretty easy to establish. You know, that's, as far as out of those three. I mean, ryegrass will likely germinate a bit faster than fescue, but it's also more sensitive to temperatures. Like fescue will, like, there's lawns in Georgia that have fescue lawns. You don't see anyone in Georgia with a ryegrass lawn this time of year. You know, so fescue will tolerate temperature, like heat, more direct sunlight, like higher temperatures better than than perennial ryegrass will. So if it were me, and especially if you're not planning on real mowing it, like you're planning on keeping the grass a bit taller, then fescue is a good option. And fescue can look great. I mean, if you do a good job, you know, mowing it and keeping it, you know, you keep it like 3 inches, 3.5 inches, keep your mower sharp. A fescue lawn can look awesome. So, you know, don't, just because it's a taller growing grass, don't think that, oh, you know, I shouldn't get this one. And if you want some additional help with that, if you go to the Golf Course Lawn Store, go to resources, then go to blog. Last week, we published this article on what are the best grass seed types and how long do they take to grow. So it talks about different grass seeds, talking about KBG, fescue, Bermuda, ryegrass, St. Augustine. Trick question. Maybe St. Augustine is not really grass seed for it, but I get asked it all the time. So I'm like, I just put this in here anyway, saying, hey, St. Augustine is not really grass seed. But yeah, read through this. I'll link this to you. It tells you about the fastest growing ones, understanding growth rates, what to expect. What else? Choosing the best seed for particular grass. I mean, there's lots of, the climates based on where you are in the country, which grass seed is going to work best. In addition to this, I'll send you a link to this, Anna. But in addition to this, there's a blog post on which grass is best based on where you are in the country. And I think, yeah, here it is. This one, which grass is best suited to my area. So I'll send you a link to this one as well, which will also be helpful for you to decide which grass seed to use on your lawn in Wyoming. So let me get you some links here. So at Anna, got you all squared away. So this is the second blog, the one on which grass is best suited to my area, and then the one on talking about, which is the fastest growing grass seed, what to expect from a standpoint of watering and growth rates and that type of thing. That is this one. So you are now covered as far as everything you need to know about choosing which grass seed to go with. Let's see here. So that's good. So hope that helps. If you need anything else, let me know, Anna. Thanks for tuning in. And I don't have many viewers from Wyoming, so congrats for that. I don't know very many people from Wyoming that tune in, so I appreciate it. Next up, Wyoming is one of those states you really never hear anything about. It's probably a really quiet and easygoing part of the country to live in. Like, you never really hear much about Wyoming, which is probably a good thing. It's just people that are just kind of relaxed and just live life and just stay out of all the nonsense that goes on in a lot of other parts of the country. All right, Garrett, let's see. Garrett Snickler says, hey, Ron, when is the best time to level my lawn? Would it hurt to level during the winter? I would level your lawn whenever it is actively growing. That is the best time. So for cool season grass, most people level their lawn in the springtime and in the fall. So like, March, April, and then August, September timeframe for cool season grass. And then for warm season grass, really the window opens, and if you're in this part of the country, it opens in late April, early May, and really goes until mid to late July is what I would say is the latest you want to level a warm season lawn in this part of the country in Northeast Georgia. I would not do it in the winter because the grass isn't growing, right? So why? It's not going to grow through. It's just gonna, as far as if you get any kind of heavy rainfall or whatever, it's gonna make a mess. It's gonna have sand on. Pretty sure your lawn's gonna look like not great until the springtime. So no, there's no reason to really level your lawn during the winter months. I would wait. I would level your lawn whenever the grass is actively growing. So warm season lawn grass, April through July. Cool season grass, the spring, March, April, and then the fall, August, September. That's your time to do those, because that's when those grass types are growing, and they're also not under a ton of stress. So could you level a cool season lawn now this time of year? Technically, yes, but it's not. It's harder on it because leveling a lawn is a stressor. So that's why you see most people that tend to do it in the spring and the fall months versus in the middle of the summer. Terry says, hey, Ron, I did a soil test. My results are phosphorus is low. Iron, B. Iron, I think B is like boron, I think. Iron should be Fe. So anyway, iron is low. See, phosphorus is low. Oh, no, I see what you're saying. Phosphorus is low. Potassium is low. Boron, I think you mean, is low. Iron is high. Magnesium high. What products? I'm gonna pay attention to the macros mainly. Okay, so your P and K are low. So what I would say is this. What I would go with is this, Terry. Go to Golf Course Lawn Store. Go to shop and go to the fertilizer section. And because you need phosphorus, I would go with the complete 14714. This is going to be your jam. This is what I would go with. This is going to cover 11,000-ish square feet. And it's going to address your macro deficiency and also going to address some of your micros as well. So you could use this. You could use the 14714 and stack it along with a micronutrient like Nutrizolve. So between this one, the complete 14714, and Nutrizolve, that will address the issues that I'm seeing here in that you're telling me based on your soil test results. So what I'll do is I'll send you links to both of them. So this is the micronutrient. So at Terry, that's the micro, and then this is the granular. It's going to do the heavy lifting. this is what I would go with. So, and that. Those two products will get you all squared away. You said, I live just north of Atlanta with Bermuda grass. Yep. Yeah. Perfect time of year. That's what I would do. I would go with the complete 14714 and then a micronutrient like Nutrizolf. That will get you all squared away, sir. Good stuff. Good job getting the soil test done too, as well. Because it makes this way easier. Because I get emails sometimes from people that say, hey, I want to put a fertilizer on my lawn. Which one do you recommend? I want a good one. And I'm like, I need I don't know, Humic Max. Pick one of these. I mean, you just pick. But I mean, if you really want to know, doing what you did, which is getting a soil test done, it's the answers to the test. You know what I mean? So now you feed your lawn based on the test results with like the complete 14714 and Nutrizolf. It's pretty hard to not have a good looking lawn if you do that and you mow your lawn regularly and just take care, make sure it gets enough water. Like it's harder to not have a good lawn than it is to have a good lawn. It would be unreasonable for you to not have a great looking lawn if you were to do that. All right, next up is Faruk 02. It says, my new home, mostly weeds. Beginning of the year, I scalped with a weed eater. Ouchie, ouchie, ouchie. The front lawn is coming in now. But I guess you gotta make it work with what you got, right? Front lawn is coming in great, but the back lawn has bald areas and some resilient weeds. Kennesaw, Georgia, Bermuda grass. I've been using the Anderson's product. Okay, so yeah, so the Anderson's makes good products. So I guess so you scalped. The front lawn is coming in fine, but the back lawn is not, and it has some weed issues. So does the back lawn get more shade than the front lawn? Because if you're feeding the lawn properly, right, and you're mowing it really, and it's getting enough sunlight, because you're in Georgia, you got Bermuda. If you're getting enough sunlight, then it should do all right. It should be, the back lawn and the front lawn should both look good. But if the back lawn is not getting enough sunlight, either due to trees, due to the way the sun passes over your house, to where it gets less sunlight, that is going to cause it to underperform. Also, if you've not done a soil test, I'd recommend that, because this is going to tell you, kind of like what the gentleman that asked the question earlier, Terry. You see how Terry's able to say, hey, my nitrogen, my phosphorus is here, my potassium is here, my iron is this. He's able to tell me all that. If you have that data, which you can get literally once you order one of these, it shows up, and then literally only 6 to 7 days after you send your results in, you'll get an email saying, hey, Faruk, this is what's going on with your soil, and then you'll know that what you're applying is the correct fit for your soil. Because it could be a lot of things. It could be a shade problem. It could be that the fertilizers you're using aren't the correct fit. It could be a pH problem to where your soil, it needs like a lime app. If your soil is acidic, it could be a number of things. And a soil test is going to diagnose that for us to where we can, move forward with actual data, right? To know that we're applying, we're putting inputs into the soil that are going to help produce a good result. So that is what I would recommend at this point. Get a soil test. We have them on the golf course lawn store. The one I would say to start with, if you don't have a probe tool, is you go to shop and then go to soil test kits and pH adjustments. Get this one, the starter pack. Reason being is it comes with one of these, a soil test kit, and it comes with the tool that you're going to need to be able to collect the samples. If you want to load up, you can save a little bit of money and get the Pro Pack, which comes with 2 soil test kits and one of the sample tools. So either one of these is what I would say to go with initially. And then once you've gone with one of these, going forward, you can just buy just the soil test kits. You don't need to buy the one with the tool anymore. So that is what I will do. I would do at this point, Faruk. So because it sounds like you're putting down, good quality products. Again, I mean, Anderson doesn't make bad stuff. So it's they make a good product. But it doesn't really matter if it's the wrong product. In other words, if the formulation is not right for what your lawn needs, or if there's other issues like a pH problem, then it's all for nothing. And given the price of fertilizer these days, it kind of makes sense to make sure you're applying what the lawn actually needs. So hope that helps, sir. Let's see. Next, we have Alex Rustano. He says, I'm sorry for last follow-up question. Of course it is, Alex. Of course this is the very last question you're going to ask. He says, some people say not to aerate 6 months after seeding. I am coming up on month 2. Should I give it more time for aeration? I would, because here's why. You know why they tell you not to do that, Alex? Is because, so you just grew a lawn in from seed. I'll show you why. So let's, me saying it is one thing, but pictures are 1,000 words. So I'll show you why it's not a great job, not a good idea to do that. If we look at, where do I have a picture of that? Under, I think, carbonized PN. Yes. So if you look at the roots, in my lawn, right? Let me see right here. So if you look at that, this is a lawn. I've been here in this house now like coming on 9 years, going on 9 years. So you see how deep that is? That's a good like 10 inches thereabouts of root zone. So there's a lot of roots for, for the lawn, for the grass to get moisture, to get nutrients. So whenever I were to go, if I were to go out and core aerate the lawn, which is a stressor to the turf, the ability for the lawn to bounce back from that injury is, if your soil profile looks like this, where you have deep roots, which comes from a more mature stand of grass, is a lot better. It's easier for the lawn to recover from injury, from like herbicides, from core aeration. If anything that is a sheer stressor to the turf, if it's more established. So for a lawn that's 2 months old, even though it looks good at 2 months, I'm not saying your lawn doesn't look good at 2 months, it's still young grass. Like the root zone is not gonna, it doesn't look like that. You don't have roots like this just yet. You see what I'm saying? So I would honestly hold off. I really would. If you were gonna core aerate, I would have done it prior to you doing the seeding work. Like that's what I would have done. I would have before you seeded, not after you just got, the seeds to start growing in. Because I remember your lawn, like you top dressed it, you did the seed, you had some of it wash out, and then now it's coming in, it's starting to look really good. I would just forego aeration this year. I really would. I wouldn't core aerate, given that you did it you did it 30 days ago, 45 days ago at this point. Let's just wait till next year. You know what I mean? So if you were going to do it, I would have done it prior to top dressing and seeding the lawn, not with a lawn that's only 2 months old, because that core aerator, when those tines punch into the surf, it's gonna pull. You're gonna be ripping a lot of roots. I mean, the entire you could be ripping, all that grass you're trying so hard to grow, you're literally gonna be ripping it out if you put a core aerator on it. And its ability to bounce back from that is not as good as a grass that is that's a bit more mature. So I would not do it if it were me. I would not. I would hold off. No Name is up. He says, I've just finished my mow. Good man. Good man. We'll clap it up for that. Congrats on finishing your mow. Well done. Priorities are in order. He says, I'm going to aerate my lawn, my parents, and my neighbors tomorrow. Whoo, man. Tell you what, take a picture of you before and after. Finally getting to it about a month later than last year. Luckily, it won't be too hot. That's true. And also, I know you're in Georgia, so with all the moisture, all the rain we've gotten, it should do a really good job as far as it getting in the soil. The area is going to make quick work of the lawns in Georgia this time and this week and for the next week or so. It's going to be a good time to aerate your lawn. So with all this rain, the ground won't be too hard either. Nope, sure won't be. All right, next out here is OK Lawn Guy says, we are baking here in the heartland. Boy, so Oklahoma and Texas, you guys are suffering. The heat is going after you, right? Well, I'm sorry. I apologize. It's too bad. Shauna saying, I'm every other day with my Earthwise manual 7-blade. Very nice, Shauna. Good work. We got Real Mowing Life join the live stream. Devin is up here as well too. What's going on, Devin? Thanks for joining over. And then we have a super chat. Once it pops in from Mr. Luis Ayabareño.
Super chat received.
He says, I'm joining a little late this evening. Ron, can I expect fast-acting results from grubs from a celloprine application? Raccoon activity in my backyard seems to decrease since the application 2 days ago. Triad on a stressed lawn. So will it? I don't know. When you say fast-acting, I mean, it's gonna control the grubs. Because if you're asking me, like so yes, I'm not surprised that the grubs are dying off. Like I've seen a celloprine sprayed on armyworms, and it's like a kill on contact. Like you spray armyworms with a celloprine, and actually the rate for armyworms is actually very, very light. And you'll see it literally. It'll do like the worm shrivel up dance. It'll like ball up and die. Grubs, it's a good question. I've never sprayed a grub directly with a celloprine, but again, I wouldn't be surprised that a week or so after, or shortly after you applied it to your lawn, you're seeing less grubs. That's what it's supposed to do. That's the way it's supposed to work, right? Which then, by extension, should hopefully keep the raccoons away. You said triad on a stressed lawn. So as far as spraying herbicides on, because I know you have cool season grass, if you can just limit it to, if you really got to spray, right? So the weeds are just that bad that you got to spray. If you can just do, if you can just spot spray the areas where you have weeds, the weed problems that you're trying to control, like that would be the way to go. Like, would I blanket spray a stressed cool season lawn this time of year? Probably not. Probably not. It would not be. I wouldn't. I mean, would it? Would it die? Would it kill it? Unlikely. But I mean, why take a lawn that's already stressed, and make it even more stressed by blanketing the entire lawn with a herbicide? Because even though Triad is labeled as safe for warm and cool, for certain warm and cool season grass types, it's still a stressor. Like any herbicide still does stress the grass some. You know what I mean? So if you absolutely have to spray, if you can spot spray, I'd be more inclined to do that than blanket spray your cool season lawn this time of year. You know what I mean? I don't want you to potentially injure it and make it look ugly for a while. So that would be my thoughts on the matter. So hope that helps, sir. I appreciate the super chat.
Super chat.
I'm not sure if I did that. If I did, I did it twice. And if you need anything else, let me know. Next up is, who is next up? Next up is Mark Luna. He says, "Thank you for your answer, Ron. Goodbye, Nuts Edge." Yep, man. I'm telling you, you will not regret using certainty for sedges. Again, it's pretty good. It's decent on POA. You got to spray it at higher rates, but this stuff is absolutely devastating against sedges on warm season grass. This is one benefit of having a warm season lawn. We get some of the cooler herbicides. Like we get stuff like certainty. So we can control POA, we can control sedges, and it's a really good product for sedge control in warm season turf. You're very, very welcome. Clara, she says, "Thank you so much, Ron. I'm going to go buy stress granular fertilizer. I really appreciate your help. You are awesome. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Make sure you read the label. For spreader settings, there are spreader settings in the product description. So if you have like a Scott spreader or if you don't have like an Earthwave, if you have like one of the spreaders that aren't on the bag, the product description, I've got spreader settings for some of the more common spreaders. Here's what I want you to do though. Whatever the spreader setting is that you see, because you're brand new and you're starting out with this, whatever the spreader setting is, I want you to go just a little bit less. So if the spreader setting is like say 4, I want you to go like 3.5. Because this is your first time doing it, first time using maybe taking care of your lawn, applying a fertilizer. I want you to go light this first time around, or just to get your bearings as far as what you're doing. So hope that helps. Keep me posted as far as how the lawn develops. I think you're gonna like the results with the products. Next up is 2 Trillies. I'm going to try some mayonnaise and ice cream tomorrow. Thanks, Ron. Yeah, try it. Let me know how it is. I don't know if anyone here that I've not met anyone that's ever had mayonnaise and ice cream. Let's see here. Have you ever had? I can't even spell mayonnaise. I'll just do mayo. Mayo and ice cream. So ask you guys. There you go. There's the poll. Have any of you guys had mayo and ice cream? Let's see. There's going to be someone. There's going to be one person in there. So there's a poll right now. If you guys are on YouTube, you want to chime in. Let's see how many yeses we have on the mayo and ice cream. Because then maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Bermuda and shade really are a thing. And then I'll have to think of a different analogy other than like mayo and ice cream. All right, CPIB says, "Thank you so much for your response and info. I much appreciate it. I'm in Southern California. I just put down some platinum TE paspalum in the backyard. Almost a month since we put it down. Seems that I've put a little too much water and now some orange-brown spots. I know it's a clay soil is big factor because the water doesn't drain as well and likes to sit there a while. So yeah, so if the lawn is establishing, let's back off on the watering a little bit. You know what I mean? Let's back off on the water a bit. If it's growing in, it's doing well. Let's reduce the watering, and see if that alone helps. You may need to apply a fungicide, CPIMs, but let's first try reducing the watering and look at it and see if that the lawn does a little bit better once you're taking away all the excess moisture. And then if not, worst case, you can always come out here and we've got a couple of fungicide options. So shop and then fungicide, insecticide. If you like granular, go with Headway. It's like 2 fungicides in 1 bag. And if you like liquids, go with Pillar SC. Again, it's also 2 fungicides in 1 bag. These are both group 3 and group 11 fungicides. And what all that means is that you've got 2 different ways that the fungicides are targeting or trying to injure or kill the disease the fungus that's causing the disease problem in your lawn. So both of these are dual action. Both of them have do two different modes of action. So either one is going to do a great result. Again, just depends if you like liquids or if you like granular. Either one will work well. But let's first start by just reducing the watering. All right, next up we have T. Collins. He says, rotary mowers, get a Simplicity. I've had rollers since the 50s. Can find a nice used ones. A Simplicity. I'm gonna have to take a screenshot of that. I've not heard of a Simplicity. Simplicity reel mower, huh? Or rotary mower. I don't know. I have to look into that. Thanks so much, T. Collins. I'm gonna learn something new today on the Simplicity mower. All right, next up we got Papa Scott. He says, Ron, great channel. I've been watching for some time, and I have a 3-ring binder of your recommendations. Thank you. I really appreciate that. It's awesome. I want to make sure I have correct. Dithiopyr better in the spring and prodiamine better in this fall. Yes, if you're going to do the two of them, and you're going to use one in the spring, one in the fall, I would use dithiopyr in the spring and prodiamine in the fall. The reason why is that dithiopyr has the ability to kill young crabgrass, and crabgrass begins to germinate in the springtime, whereas prodiamine does not. So either one will work in the spring. Given the choice, dithiopyr, in my opinion, is a bit better option in the springtime than prodiamine. The only negative to dithiopyr is that some folks say that it doesn't last quite as long as prodiamine does, but I still think it's a better option for a springtime pre-emergent than prodiamine. But the idea is you're splitting hairs here. Either one will work if you apply them prior to the weeds emerging. But given the choice, dithiopyr is a good option based on what, hopefully for reasons that make sense to you. One can kill weeds that are about to start germinating in the spring. The other cannot. So that makes dithiopyr a bit better from that standpoint. Next up is Papa Scott. He says, Certainty and Celsius got both Arkansas, Bermuda, and Zoysia. Nice, you got the combo. Yeah, if you got the Certainty Celsius combo, you are good to go. It's all you need to really control the weeds that are most common in warm season turf. All right, next up we got Platinum Exteriors. It says, I'm lowering my lawn approximately 4 inches in some areas to match the grade with my driveway into my sidewalk. Then front terrace grass also be leveled. How would you separate neighbors? Oh, so you're saying your lawn, your neighbor's lawn touch? I mean, short of putting some kind of barrier in, I don't have a really good answer on this one, Platinum. You could, a fence will do it, but then fences are a pain. They can be a pain because you got an edge around them. And if you have like a solid fence, it's going to create shade issues and kill your grass. There's not, you could, if you want to put like, if where your lawns meet, it's not like an area where like water has to pass or like it drains, which a lot of times that is the case. You could do some kind of hardscape between you. I don't know if wherever you live, that's going to be allowed. Like some HOAs may not allow you to do like a hardscape, like bricks or pavers between you and your neighbor. I don't know if that's going to be allowed. That's the only thing I can really think of. If your grass is touch, here's the thing: if your grass is touch and you're fertilizing your lawn, you're doing a lot of things that I talk about, like it's going to be pretty obvious which grass is yours and which grass is your neighbor's, unless they're doing the same thing. You're going to have a pretty strong domination line. But as far as like preventing your neighbor's grass from encroaching or weeds from your neighbor encroaching into your lawn, there's not really an easy way to do that with them, with them touching, unfortunately. So I wish I had a better answer for you, but unfortunately, I think I do not on that one, if I understand your question properly. So sorry, I'm not more help on this one. Next up, we got David Quigley. He says, hey, Ron, hope you're well. Not bad. Send an email with soil test results. Been using Essential G 14714 and complete, following the recommended rates. Cool, David. I will take a look if you don't mind once the show is over, because we'll be wrapping up a little bit early tonight because less people are here tonight. I'll be looking at that, and I will get you an answer this evening before I go to sleep. I promise you. I will look at the emails, and I will answer it before I go to sleep. I'll make sure you get a response. So we got TT Surf in the live stream on Instagram. We got Jimbo. We got Lizzie Law 88. What's up, Lizzie Law? Thanks for coming to hang out. Green Mates also joined. Thanks, guys. Thanks for coming to hang out on Instagram. I appreciate you. Thanks so much. Let's see. Results are horrible and most in all macros and most micros. Recommendations. In your application, let's look at your application rates, David. I mean, if you're applying the products and the rate and the soil test results aren't reflecting a change, or they're not reflecting a change at the rates that you would want, you're going to have to, just keep feeding it, keep increasing, maybe going up slightly on the rates that you're using. So if you don't mind, I know you sent me an email with your results. Also let me know what rates you're using, particularly for the 14,714. Let me know what rates you're using for that. That's the one that I'm going to be the most interested in seeing. So if you can send me another email, I'll look at that and I'll get you an answer tonight. All right, so we have a super chat. Let's see here from Mr. Archie Amos. Thank you so much, Archie. I appreciate it.
Super chat received.
He says, "Wow, no LG on the screen. Wake up, my brother LG. He's here. He's here. He's just being quiet. He is he's hanging out. He's lurking. Actually, I think he's about to be up next." He says, "So Grasshopper's Lawn Care says, happy Thursday, Ron." And then LG, so you asked for him. Here he is. He says, hey, it's L to the O to G. You know what? I've not met LG in person, but I can just imagine he is like the life of the party. He's probably one of those people that is the life of the party for sure. All right, Michael Thomas is just okay. What's going on, Michael? Thanks for, I guess, a bunch of dots on the screen. And then next up, Justin King says, "Ron, you could legally use MSMA without it being off label. Being you have a golf course lawn, LOL, looking good." Yeah, I'd like to think so, but I don't think it works that way. But yeah, I mean, it's a good herbicide, but yeah, not for residential lawns anymore, unfortunately. All right, from Hello BC says hello, BC. Hopefully you're doing well. And then Dwayne's World Party Time Excellent is up next. He says, "Hello, Ron. Happy Thursdays." Joking. Hopefully you had a great week of mowing. Not really. I had a week of non-mowing. I got to mow today, and I took advantage of that. Double cut it. Lawn is looking better. It's recovering. This is how it looked before the live stream. Literally right there. This picture is like 5 hours old. So that is how the lawn looks after a double cut. After 3 days ago, it looked like that. It was covered in rain, covered in water. So it's I was able to knock it down and get it, try and get it back in shape. Try to work it back into shape. It's not looking its best right now, but hey, I'm doing the best I can. Doing the best I can based on what Mother Nature's given me, right? All right, Hello BC's up next. He says, "I was thinking about putting some zoysia down. I have bahia in part that I want to replace. My friend told me just to put the zoysia sod right on top of it and it should be fine. Is that true?" No, I would not do that. I would not do that. That's a great way to have a mutt of a lawn. I would not do that. If you don't want the bahia lawn anymore and you want zoysia, I would kill off the bahia grass and I would then apply zoysia. So, or I would install zoysia. I would not just lay the zoysia sod on top of the bahia grass. I would not do that. That is not I don't really say that to tell someone that's bad advice, but that's bad advice. It's not good advice. Do not do that. Get rid of the grass that you want to eliminate first, and then install whatever grass that you want. In your case, zoysia sod. So yeah, I would not do it that way. All right, next up we have is Dwayne's World. He says, "Ron, took your advice and threw down PGR at the 0.6 ounce rate for 4 gallons. I think it should work out well. On a side note, have you sharpened your rotary scissors? If so, what did you use?" I have not sharpened mine yet. I've been very particular about not edging, not using, so how can I say this? I've been using it to trim, but not to edge. So you see some people turn it sideways and they use it to do an edge on their lawn to kind of replace their stick edger. I don't do that to try and keep it sharp for as long as possible. As far as what you can use to sharpen it, I've seen people take the same grit, the same back-lapping compound that you use for our reel mowers. You use that. So get like a brush and just brush some of that on it and run the scissors, for a little while, and then rinse it off, and then that puts an edge back on them. So give that a shot. Use like the back-lapping compound, and then make sure you rinse it, obviously. And that should help put an edge back on your scissors. If that doesn't work, you have to replace the blades. All right, next up is Jeffrey Lancaster. He says, "Can you recommend a striping kit for the Honda HRN mower? Thank you." I don't know if do they make one? let's see here. Let me see if they're. I know they make them for Toros. Honda. They have a striping kit for Hondas. Let us see. I don't see. Oh well, yeah. Well, I've got. Yeah. There's one here. The Lawn Striper Gen 3. It says only works with Honda 20 to 22 inch residential walk behind mowers. So if you've got a 20 to 22 inch, this, according to the description, let me get over here, will do the trick. That will it attaches to a Honda. It's like that. That's what you need. That will work as far as striping your lawn. So yeah, if you want to give it a go, you can. I'm not vouching from direct experience here, but you asked for a striping kit for a Honda mower, and that's what a quick search on Amazon turned up. The reviews look okay. You can also make a striping kit too. You know that, right? You can make one. There is a video on YouTube. A guy out of, I think it's like Lake House Lawn Care, I think is the name of his channel. He has a video on like how to spend like $15 and make a striping kit for your rotary mower. So that's cheaper than the 180. But if you want this one, this is it here. But I'll get on YouTube and just look up like cheap striping kit or DIY lawn striping, and his video will likely show up. It's got like over 1 million views. It's a really popular video. So it shows you how to make one for $15. But if you're like, you know what, I don't feel like doing that, I don't really care, I just want something I can bolt on my mower, then the one I just linked to you in the chat should do the trick according to their description. Again, I'm not using it myself, but I have no reason to believe that it's not gonna work well. All right, Papa Scott says, Ron, sorry to bring it up, but I think of you every time I see a mole trail. I'm dealing with 3 trails right now. LOL. Ooh, I'm sorry, man. I dealt with one, and it was, man, I lost my religion over a mole. I have not been that mad in a long time. Ooh. Yeah, so 3 of them, huh? You got like a family. So you want to get ahead of that. You want to get ahead of that before it gets too much out of control. You don't want them, sending out emails to their play cousins and friends and girlfriends and having everybody show up and move in your lawn. You don't want that. So you want to eliminate them sooner than later if you can, because moles are gross. What they do to the lawn is absolutely disgusting. All right, next up is Tito Serrano. He says, can I level my lawn more than once per year? I'm in San Antonio. I have some spots which are 3 inches or more low. Yes, you can. You could do, I like to say 3 levelings in a season in a warm season lawn. You could probably do more than that, but in Georgia, really, you could do one late April, early May, then June, and then another one in July. I'm not a fan of doing them in August because it's a crapshoot. If you do one in August and we have like summer ends early, then the grass may not grow through and it's going to look a bit thin. You're going to have some areas where you're seeing sand, for a lot of the fall, and it's not going to fix itself until the following spring. So I would say, this where you are now in June, you could likely still get 2 top dressings in this year if you wanted to, Tito. So yes, to answer your question, yes, you can. Justin King's up next. He says, hey, Ron, I live in Oklahoma and I haven't heard if OSU has ended or has a replacement in the works for Arden 15. Have you heard anything on a good replacement? I have not. I've not heard about a replacement for Arden 15. All the buzz these days is about Tahoma 31. I've not heard of anything as far as a new replacement, as far as a seed for Arden 15, unfortunately. So you're very welcome, Farak. Thought it was helpful. It says, hello, Ron. What causes spring dead spots and how can I avoid them next year? So that's a good question. So as far as the actual disease or fungus that causes it, I don't know. I don't know what the actual name of the bacteria or the fungi that causes spring dead spot to be the problem, but I do know that it starts in the fall, or you control it in the fall. So if you don't want spring dead spot, the time to control it is in the fall time. So you would apply a fungicide app in October, the beginning of October, and do another one in November, and that is going to help with keeping spring dead spot out of your lawn in the following year. Also, be careful with your nitrogen inputs. So as you get towards the end of the season, say you're in Georgia, like there's no reason to be pushing a lot of nitrogen in like late October, November timeframe, right? So if you start backing off the amount of N that you're feeding the lawn as it begins to go dormant, and you get a preventative fungicide down in October and another one in November, that's going to put you on a really good path to prevent spring dead spot problems. As far as the fungicides that I would recommend, I'm going to give you a couple of options, Quincy. So if you like liquids, so where you can find this, you go to the Golf Course Lawn Store, go to shop, and then go to fungicide, insecticide. And then in here, you're going to see a couple of options. If you like liquids, go with Pillar SC. If you like granular, go with Headway G. They're both excellent products. Both have 2 modes of action, and they're both going to do a good job helping you to control and prevent spring dead spot in your lawn the following year. And again, the time to do it is in October and November. So you want to pick one of these, apply 2 rounds of fungicide, October, November, and that's going to do a good job of reducing and or preventing spring dead spot the following year. So hope that helps. Moon Doggy says, funny observation, prep backyard for Bermuda, 6 months of watering and hand weed picking, laying down sod, install proper amendments. The Tiff Tuff has barely grown, part 1. So you did all that work and it hasn't grown in. Part 2, the 2 extra rolls of sod laid on a piece of cardboard, nothing done special, no amendments, over spray watering, and the grass is thriving. Face plant. I don't know, Moon Doggy. I don't know. Is the actual lawn getting enough sunlight? Like, do you have a lot of, is the area where you have a piece of cardboard just kind of sitting there, is it getting a lot of sun and the lawn isn't getting sun? I don't know. I mean, based on everything you did here, it sounds like it should be, the grass should be growing in all right. It should certainly, your soil should certainly be out competing the cardboard. It should be, but I'd say if you've not done one, get a soil test done in your lawn. Let's see what's going on in the soil, and then based on that, we can correct whatever correct the problem and see if we can make things better. That is what I would say at this point, because your soil should be out competing a piece of cardboard. That is good. That's a first. That's a first. My Bermuda grows better on cardboard than it does in soil. All right, Bree Wash says, I had Bermuda sod put in 2.5 weeks ago. The sod changed to a deep green now. When do I start fertilizing the grass, or is all this rain we've been putting here in Lawrenceville enough? So I would start fertilizing it once you start mowing it, Bree. So it's been 2.5 weeks. Once you go on and get out there and start mowing it, which I imagine will be probably another 2 weeks from now, 2 to 3 weeks from now. Once you start doing that, you can start feeding it. So yeah, once you're getting on the lawn and mowing it, then you can introduce fertilizer. And no, water, the rainfall is not enough. Rainfall does not replace fertilizer. Rainfall has a lot of benefits, but it does not replace actual fertilizer. So yeah, and the way to find out what's the best for your soil or the best fit is get a soil test done. And then once you're done with that, you can go to everyone's favorite section of the Golf Course Lawn Store, which is the lawn fertilizer section, and you can pick something off the shelf based on your soil test results. So that is what I would do if you're trying to do it as correctly as possible to make sure that what you're buying and applying is the best fit for your soil, for your grass. All right, next up is the SPZ99 says, thoughts on spoon feeding fertilizer on cool season lawn, preferably no nitrogen, medium, iron, and potassium. Sounds great. Sounds like a plan to me. I don't see a problem with doing that. No problem, no worries at all. Donnell Burrell is up next. He says, good evening, Ron. Just finished my late evening mow. The Bermuda is loving good rain here in central Alabama. Want to apply plant growth regulator? I have, let me see here. Now I have about 2,500 square feet. I want to apply 1.5 ounces to 4 gallons of water to apply. Are you only doing one application? You're only going to be applying it once per month, Donnell? If you're going to be doing it once per month, that is, let me think about that. That's heavy. That's on the heavy side, because really 1 ounce, you didn't say whether you have common. I saw that. You have common Bermuda. I'm sorry. I retract that statement. So you have common Bermuda. So for common Bermuda, 0.75 per thousand. Yes, that would be good. But that's assuming you're only going to be spraying it once per month. If you want my opinion, what I would do is take that rate and cut it in half. So instead of doing 1.5 ounces, do 0.75 ounces and spray it on the first of the month, and spray it again, another 0.75 on the 15th of the month. That's what I would do. So yes, you can do it either way you want. You could spray it all at one go if you want, but only once per month. Or you could take that 1.5, cut it in half, and spray it, spray it twice, once on the first, once on the 15th. And I don't know that I would use 4 gallons. 4 gallons of water is a bit much. That's quite a bit of carrier. I mean, I would go for, if you can do 2 gallons, that would be okay. You know what I mean? Because here's the thing. it's a foliar based. It's absorbed via the plant leaf, via the foliar, right? So you want to make sure you have enough carrier to ensure good coverage, but not so much that you're causing runoff. You know what I mean? So let's you have 2,500 square feet. Let's do 3 gallons. How about that? Take the rate, whatever you're using, mix it with 3 gallons of water, and spray whichever one you decide, whether the split app rate or the full app rate, and spray that 3 gallons over the 2,500 square feet, and that will produce a good result. Like 4 gallons is a bit for 2,500 square feet is a bit much. It's probably okay, but it's a bit heavy as far as the amount of water. And I think you might find you're starting to get some runoff if you do that, which is what we don't want, right? We want it on the plant leaf, not like running off and where it can't really work. So hope that helps. Keep me posted, man. I think you're gonna like what you get with Primo, though. It's good stuff. It's great stuff. All right, next up is T1000. He says, thanks for answering my question and providing informative and entertaining content. My lawn is healthier and greener for it. I appreciate that, T1000. Like I said, if I don't have the answer, hopefully at least it's fun and entertaining to watch. So that's at least something, right? Archie's up. He says, good evening, young man. Verticutting was the bomb. The lawn is already reacting very positively. Process raised the blades, making the cleanup results so beautiful. Thanks for the continued instruction. You're very, very welcome, Archie. I'm glad that you are enjoying the results you're getting from verticutting. Probably part of the reason why golf courses do it, right? Like, if you think about it, if you think about, like, you know, we say, you know, I talk about, like, you know, getting a golf course lawn and like taking a lot of the cultural practices that golf courses use and bringing them to residential lawns to get like really amazing turf. If you think about a golf course, like they want the turf to look incredible, but they're also like, especially these days, like golf courses are very budget constrained, you know, unless you're like Augusta National. Like most golf courses, like they can't just spend money anyhow they want. So the fact that most of them still use verticutting as part of their program really shows you how important it is to really having a great stand of turf, especially turf that's real mode and just as far as getting the same results that you're showing. I mean, you thin out the lawn, but not in such a way that it looks bad and you're putting unnecessary stress into it. And then a week afterwards, it looks absolutely gorgeous after a good verticut. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm glad that you are seeing the same results that I'm seeing, and keep going. Keep going. It's going to get even better. Just keep it up. All right, next up is C. Pims. He says, I actually applied some fungicide today after I mowed. I got some Lesco T-Storm 2G. It's a systemic fungicide. Figured that would be best for my yard. Definitely agree with cutting back on water. Nice. Cool stuff, man. That should do the trick. All right, next up we got LG. He says, Archie Amos, sorry, man. The cost of rehab set me back for a few months, and he's back at it again. Let's see here. Papa Scott says, Platinum Exterior. I talked to my neighbor and I mow and spray our connecting lawns. Win-win. That's an option too, if your neighbor will let you do that. And then next up we have Jeffrey Lancaster. He says, in addition to what Ron sent, also look up the Checkmate. I have both for my Honda HRX. So I guess there's something called the Checkmate, which is a pretty good name for a rolling system, for like a lawn striping system. It's a good name. Good marketing. I like it. Let's see. A Bermuda DIY guy says, once I mix the Miramichi natural pesticide, how long does it keep? I have some in a fogger for the last 2 months because I can never go through it all. That's a good question. Every time I've asked this question to the folks at Miramichi, they've always told me is mix what you're going to use. They say, I've asked this question for BioSpectrum and said, nope, mix what you're going to use. Don't let it sit around. And the answers, I'm pretty sure the answer is going to be the same thing. Mix what you intend to use, Bermuda DIY guy. So mix less of it next time. You know what I mean? Just spray it. You know, mix less of. You know, I don't know how long it keeps. I will ask them, but I'm pretty sure their answer is going to be mix what you intend to use. Do not let it sitting. Don't leave it sitting in the sprayer for 2 months. Is it going to hurt anything? I don't know what to really expect. It likely could lose some of its effectiveness. I just wouldn't do that. I would mix what you intend to use and spray it. You know, within a day or two. That is what I would recommend. All right, next up is Moondog. He says, Moondog, Jim Carson, the secret sauce is the cardboard. All right, Tip Top on cardboard is better suited to my backyard. So yes, more sun. Okay, yeah. So the cardboard is situated in my backyard. Yeah. So it's the sun. So it's not the cardboard. It's the mayonnaise and ice creams. Actually, on that point, let's stop the poll. Let's see what do people say here. What were the results towards the mayonnaise and ice cream? So we had 58 votes Let me see. How many yeses? We have total 58 votes. 1% yes. So one person said yes, that they've had mayo and ice cream, and everyone else has said no, no mayo and ice cream. So in general, that's a good. I'm gonna stick with that. That saying. You know, Bermuda and sunlight is like mayo and ice cream. They just don't go together because most of you guys have never had mayo and ice cream. So we'll keep it. All right, next we have Jamar McKinney. He says, I plan on doing a leveling job soon. Would you recommend not applying PGR prior? If you want the lawn to grow to recover faster, no, I wouldn't apply growth regulator because it is going to slow down how quickly the lawn grows tall, right? So if you want the lawn to bounce back as quickly as possible, do not apply growth regulator. That said, can you use growth regulator? Will the lawn recover from it? Yes, but it's going to be slower than if your lawn is not under regulation. So if you want the lawn to bounce back faster, don't spray Primo. What I find is this: is if it's your second or third top dressing, like it being under regulation is less of a big deal because your subsequent top dressings tend to be a lot lighter than the first time you do it. The first time you top dress, then no, don't do any kind of growth regulator because there are going to be some areas that are going to be heavier than others, and you just want the lawn to recover faster. But if this is like your third or fourth or fifth top dress, you're going to likely be going pretty light. And if you've already decided, hey, the lawn's under regulation and I'm going to top dress it, it's going to be fine. I'll put you this way. Let me see, the front, outside the front lawn, the back lawn, every time you guys have seen videos of me top dressing the back lawn in the past, I don't know, several years, it's been under regulation. It's been using Primo. Primo's been on the lawn. It's been in the plant. And when I top dress it, and it didn't, the lawn still recovered relatively quickly. It recovered at a rate that I was happy with, is what I'm trying to say. All right, next up is Brad Cromer. He says, Tiffway 419 is 1.5 years old. Overall, no issues. I just want to make it better. Soil test shows N and K are low. P is in the optimal range. Should I go with the 7020, 28310 fertilizer? I would go with the one that has no phosphorus in it because your soil test results say your phosphorus is good. So either the 7020 would be the one I would say. Or you could go with Humic Max 1608 or the Stress 12024. Either of these, you're going to skip the one in the middle. This one is a no go. So Humic Max or the Stress 12024, either one of those would be a good fit based on what you're telling me for your grass based on your soil test results. Hope that helps. All right, Lance F is up next. He says, happy Thursday, Ron. Question for cool season grass. I've heard that tall grass pushes deeper roots than shorter grass. Is that true? I feel a well-kept soil and lawn, it should not make a difference. I've not heard that tall grass pushes deeper roots. What I have heard is that lawns that are, like say growth regulator, one of the benefits of it is that it drives deeper roots because like grass can typically grow up or can grow, I can't say it can't grow up and down at the same time, but one of the benefits of Primo, of growth regulator, is that by suppressing top growth, you leave more fuel, more energy for beneath ground growth, for it to drive deeper roots. So that is one of the benefits of growth regulator. As far as taller grass, like letting grass get taller, producing deeper roots, I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me that would be the case. But I don't know the answer to that one. It's a good question. You know what? I'm gonna screenshot that one, and I'm even ask Devin. He'll probably be like, he might have an answer for that one. I'm not sure if he's still here in the live stream, but I'll bounce that one by him. I'm not sure. Good question. It's a good one. You said you feel like a well-laid soil and lawn, it should not make a difference. Yeah, I know that growth regulator will help produce deeper roots. A grass being tall or short, given the same age, I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know whether that's going to make a material difference as far as how deep the roots grow. So in other words, if you took, and it has to be the same grass type, of same growing conditions if you're going to test this. So if you had like a plot of Bermuda, same conditions, same sunlight, same everything, and you establish Bermuda from sod, and you let one grow to like 3 inches, and you real mowed the other one, would the taller one have deeper roots than the one that's real mowed? I would incline to think no, but I don't know the answer to that. But so I'll look into it. It's a good question. It's a good research question. I'll look into it, and we can make it a talking point for next week because I do not know the answer to that. All right, next up is Platinum Exteriors. He says, better to ask my question. I will include parts. Mine and my neighbor's yard have areas with our backyards that are 4 inches higher than the sidewalk. Would love to start real mowing by matching the grade. Okay, with my driveway. I am thinking the difference between the lawns will be too much. Should I build a retaining wall or attempt to slope into my yard? Either way, man. Either one will work. A slope, either one has its pros and cons. The slope, if it's a gentle slope, it'll be faster and easier to mow than doing a retaining wall. Because with a retaining wall, now you've got a couple of issues. One, you got to edge it, so you're gonna be more time to be spending with either like a string trimmer or rotary scissors edging along the retaining wall. So that's thing one. Depending on how tall you grow the retaining wall, how tall you build the retaining wall, it could cast shade, which is could harm how well your grass grows. That's another consideration. The slope is the way I might go. I might lean more towards the slope because it's just, in many ways, it's a time saver. And if you do it right, appearance wise, it can look really nice. You know what I mean? So I think my vote would be the slope, because I don't like to have to break out equipment just to have to go and edge and string trim and all this kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think I'm voting slope on this one. Voting slope. All right, C. Pims is next. He says, since the sod soil is only a month old, would you still recommend doing aeration? I would not do aeration, no. And topsoil sand, or wait a bit longer before doing so. Thank you very much for your help. As far as the soil and like the top dressing, as long as you go light, I would have less problem. I don't have an issue with that. But aeration, I would not want to do that for a newly sodded or seeded lawn, because even though it looks like it's growing and it's starting to establish, you don't want running that aerator over it to pull up or to yank the grass that's trying to root in away from the soil. So I would pass on the aeration, but I would, if you want to do top dressing or if you want to do a top dressing, as long as you go light, there's no problems with doing that. But aeration, yeah, let's not do that this go around. At least not yet. Probably not this season. It's only a month old. Let's skip it for this year. Aerate next year. Next up is Quincy. He says, how do you prepare for rain like we've had in the South this week? The way you prepare is mow your lawn the day before. Mow your lawn the day before the rainfall is about to start, and also have growth regulator. Use Primo Max. Use Primo. Have a growth regulator. That's going to slow down how much the flush of growth that you get from all the rainfall. So a growth regulator, mowing like as close to when the rain's about to start, and then just patience. And then once the rain stops, just get on the business of getting the lawn back into shape and at the height of cut that you want it. But Primo will make a material difference in reducing how much cleanup or how much height of cut resets you have to do if you're using growth regulator. So for that reason, it's worthwhile. And again, stuff is really not that expensive. It's like mid 40s, like 40, 45, 43, $44 for a bottle of this stuff. And like one bottle will do 16,000 square feet, so well worth its weight in gold. There's tons of benefits to it. I would highly, highly recommend incorporating growth regulator into your lawn care program. Lance F says, when are you going to post the night mow? LOL. Yeah, buddy. You guys really want to see that? I got to make that happen. This week obviously was not a good time to do it because it was raining the entire time. We'll see. Maybe this upcoming week, maybe. Man, you guys are gonna make me drag a camera out there and all my lights. Here's the thing. It is not gonna look good. I mean, some of the cameras, I've got some cameras here that can see pretty well in the dark, but it's just not gonna look like, it's gonna be a horrible video, man. Whatever. I'll try it. Why not? I need something fun and something interesting to get the creative juices flowing anyway. So why not? That'll be something. That'll be a video that I do not yet have. So why not? C. Pim says, appreciate it. Thank you. Keep up the great work. I will do my best, sir. Next up is McNasty Motorsports. It went 6 days between mows. Oh, sacrilege. I took a vacation. Why? I mean, why? You took a 6-day vacation? That's not responsible. Subsequently chopped off a lot of color. $950. And 3 days later, my color is back. Thank you, Hellman's. I'm trying to think here. So you chopped a bunch of color. What's $950? And 3 days later, what did you do? what did you do? Helmets is like mayonnaise? What do you? I'm missing the joke, Nick Nasty. It's going over my head. The joke is going over my head. I'm sure it's a good one, but I'm going. It's going over my head. All right. Tito Serrano says, is top dressing the same thing as leveling? No. So let me check and say this. Make sure I get this correct. All leveling, all lawn leveling is top dressing, but not all top dressing is lawn leveling. So top dressing is a process of putting, casting sand, soil, compost, some kind of medium over your lawn. That is in its purest form. That is the definition of top dressing. Lawn leveling is doing that with the goal of making the lawn smoother. So smoothing out bumps and uneven areas of your lawn. So you could top dress your lawn very lightly with like a compost. And if you went light, that is still technically that's top dressing. You've done a light top dressing of the lawn, but it's not really leveling because you haven't put enough material down to take the areas that are bumpier and make them smooth. And when I think about leveling projects, I always think of sand. There has to be some sand in the top dressing mix, in the mix for it to really be a leveling project. For example, what I did earlier this spring on the front lawn, when I did like a bunch of carbonized PN, that would be a top dressing project. But as far as like it actually leveling the lawn, not so much, not really. I mean, it's the leveling benefits of that are very limited in comparison to when you have a sand compost blend. Now in the video description, I have leveling in there because frankly, most people, like if you look at like as far as the number of people that have heard of top dressing, like that's a more niche term than lawn leveling. So that's why you'll still see, even in videos where I'm using compost, I'll still have leveling in the description because just more people will find the video that way. But from a standpoint of leveling a lawn, you need to have some kind of sand in there because that adds structure and does a better job of smoothing out the uneven parts of the lawn. Whereas top dressing is, if you put compost on the lawn, that's top dressing. You put soil, just regular topsoil on the lawn, that is top dressing. You go really with light sand on the lawn, that is also top dressing. So all leveling involves top dressing. Not all top dressing is necessarily leveling. So hope that helps, Tito. Hopefully my explanation makes sense. So anything else, let me know. Platinum Experience says, how long after establishing a lawn can you apply PGR? That's one that really wouldn't take that long. So once you start mowing it, if you're out there mowing it, Platinum, you can use growth regulator. Like that's not one I don't feel terribly strongly about as far as waiting very long. Like herbicides, give a little bit of time, but growth regulator, especially if you're doing it the way that I recommend, as far as taking whatever the monthly application rate is for your grass type and dividing that in half and spraying like half the monthly rate twice per month. That's even better. You know what I mean? So yeah, growth regulator. Once you're out mowing it, you can start using Primo on it. No problems with that at all. JC105 says, wow, Thursday night, what sorcery is this? A day earlier? Oh, please let this rain stop and see the sun. Give Ron an extra like for effort. Yeah, because tomorrow I've got karate. I've got a karate event, so I can't do the live stream tomorrow night. So versus skipping, we are doing it tonight. So you guys get your turf talk and we get to chat and yeah. Let's see here. Real Mower says, with the amount of rain we're getting in North Georgia, how long before you water your lawn again? At best, it's going to be like the end of next week. At the absolute soonest, Real Mowers. Maybe even longer than that. Like if it's stopped tonight, do you resume your normal schedule in a week? I mean, maybe. Well, it depends, right? It depends on what the temperatures are like in this upcoming week. But we had so much rain to where like there was a pool in the backyard, so the lawn's got plenty of moisture in it. So I don't, for next week, definitely not. So if we say the week following, which I think is the week of July 1st, I think, the 4th of July week, like that's the soonest I would resume watering on my lawn. I'm not gonna, save watering in like a fertilizer. Like I'm not, that's about it. I've got the soil's got plenty of water. It doesn't need any more water at this, based on what we had over the past few days. And then next Off-Road NV says, oh yeah, you could be mowing under the lights. We'll see. I'll have to think about how I'm gonna make that happen. All right, so next up we have Platinum. Yeah, it has something to do tomorrow night. And then Inside America says, is paying True Green enough? Yeah, I mean, if you don't want to do all this stuff yourself, paying a lawn care service is not a bad idea. It's not going to look as good as if you did it all yourself, but you're not. It's not a fair comparison because you're comparing two things that really aren't the same. Like whenever you pay True Green or Turf Mark or any of those services to come out, they're going to come out what 6-7 times a year, maybe, right? They're going to do, and that's for them doing pre-emergent and maybe some spraying for weeds and fertilization here and there, and that's about it, right? If you're doing what I do, what I teach and what I do on my lawn and what a lot of people that follow my content do, like you're out there every 15 days minimum. Like you're mowing a couple times per week and then you're spraying the lawn every twice a month, and you're doing a granular fertilizer once a month. So so the amount of work going into the lawn is not even in the same universe as what like a lawn care service is going to do. So comparing the results that you get from like a True Green or a Turf Mark or any of those services compared to what you can produce yourself is not really fair. You know what I mean? Because ultimately you are spending more money. You're going to spend more money doing it yourself if you're doing everything that I talk about than if you are paying one of those services to do it, but your lawn's also going to look better, So it depends. I mean, if is it good enough? If you like the way your lawn looks, based on what they do, yeah. I mean, it depends on you. It depends on how picky you are. It depends on what you're trying to achieve. But if you but what they do, what they offer is for a certain demographic and to solve a certain problem, right? Like most people care about their grass, but they don't really care about their grass. Like they want their lawn to not have weeds in it. They want it to be green, reasonably green, and they want to mow it once every couple of weeks and enough to where the HO doesn't send them a nasty gram. Like that is not the people on this live stream. So you guys would not be a great fit for a lawn care service. Like someone like you, one of you guys getting like True Green, you're going to drive them insane because you're going to be calling them out there all the time saying, no, this isn't right, or I don't like this. And like you guys would be a complete pain for them. You know what I mean? So you are not their ideal customer. So I think those services are great. I think they definitely serve a need for the people for the problem they're designed to solve. They are not the best option if you're trying to get a golf course lawn because there's just simply not enough input, not enough work from based on what they're doing to get similar results, to get the same results. So it's really not a fair question because you're comparing two things that really aren't even the same. It's like saying if I whatever, if I go to the driving range, once a month, is that, or more, less than that? If I go to the driving range 8 times a year, is that as good as going to the driving range, twice a week and getting lessons? No, it's not. But the amount of work you're putting into going to the driving range twice a week and getting lessons, you're spending more time, you're spending more money, and if you're following the lessons and you're following the guidance, you're going to be a better golfer than someone that only goes to the driving range, 8 times a year. But it's not a fair comparison because the amount of work that's going into it are not even remotely the same. So again, hope that helps inside America. It depends on how picky you are. It can be if you don't want to do all this stuff yourself. I would not recommend, unless you like working on your lawn, what I do, I would not recommend for most people. It's not something that most people are going to want to do. Not at the level that I and most of the people on the live stream right now want to do it. You know what I mean? So it's True Green is a good fit for what they're designed to serve. All right, Quincy Williams says, I appreciate it, Ron. I got my Primo max down 2 weekends ago. Seems to be working pretty good. Nice. It should. It's good stuff. Let's apply it 2-3 days later. The handbrake, the e-brake will get yanked on top growth for your lawn. All right, Moondoggy says, for the night mow, use the theme song for Miami Vice. I could, but I couldn't. The video would get demonetized. I can't. It's a whole thing, copyright. It would not. I don't own the rights to the song, so I can't really play it on a video. I mean, you can, but video's gonna get demonetized if you do that. And although it would be funny, Lance F says it's not about the quality of the video; it's just about doing it. We will all watch. Okay. All right, Ron. It's a Mayo joke for the poll. Oh, I got you. All right. I got you. Now I see it. It takes a lot of mayo to level a lawn. It makes sense now. See, it took a while for me to catch up. YouTube gold. Okay, and this is McNasty's. I'm certainly still on vacation, so don't mind me. And we are winding down. Turd Bucket says, hi, Ron. What's up, Turd Bucket? It's an interesting name, but okay. Hello. And then next up, we have Teddy T says, thanks for sending the link to your fertilizer. I will definitely consider it. Curious to know if anyone has ever combined Milo and iron at the same time. I have not done that, but I have combined Milo with a high iron liquid fertilizer. There's a product called, it's hard to find these days, it's called Brant Supreme Green. I think it was like a 4 or 5% iron product, and I would not recommend it. I would not, actually, you know what? You could actually see that. I've got a video to actually show you what happened when I did that. Iron. Let me see. It's like too much. Oh man, what did I call it? It was like it's one of my older videos for probably it's over 5 years old at this point. Milo. I'm trying to think of what I called. Yeah, liquid fertilizer. And this is it here. I found it. Liquid fertilizer and Milorganite. Interesting results. Where it's where I did exactly that. It was a video from, what did I do? When did I shoot this video? I don't know. It's where is the date? I don't know. Analytics. I'm curious. It is over 12. It's almost 1,200 days old. So whatever that is, almost 4 years, 5 years, a while. All right. Anyway, here's the video. The one I'm talking about, so you can see what happens if you over apply iron. So I would not say it, Teddy. I wouldn't do it. I would not do that. I mean, do what you want, but I would recommend against it. I recommend against over applying iron to your lawn. CPIM says, would you suggest putting a topsoil or sand to put over the top of the sod? I don't know if there are benefits of one or the other. I would do a blend. I would do a blend of sand and soil if you can. That's what I would go with. I would do a blend of soil, of compost or soil and sand. A 70-30 ratio works best if you're in Georgia or South Carolina or North Carolina or Tennessee or Alabama. Super Sod makes a leveling mix that is excellent. It is not the cheapest, but it is by far, in my opinion, the best stuff you can use around here anyway, for leveling your lawn. So I will send you the link to that if you're interested. If you're interested in that CPIMS, it's a very good product. It's their leveling mix. This is what you're going to want to use here. And using my link saves you, I mean, it is an affiliate link, so it does help the channel, but it also saves you some money, like $5-10 off the delivery, off the bag, right? So every bit helps. So there you go. That's what I would use for top dressing. And Brew Cruise Fishing says, happy Friday. Thanks for your assistance earlier. You're very welcome, sir. Mark Romano says, I'll send a link to mower headlights. You guys are setting this up, huh? You really want to see this. You really want to see that. All right. Let's see. Does zoysia's handle shade better than Bermuda grass? Yes, but not by too much. I cut my grass twice a week, so I'm as crazy as you guy as LOL. Ooh, dude, you got an NSX? Nice car. Old school NSX. I like it. It is more shade tolerant than Bermuda, but it still needs plenty of sunlight to do well. All right, next up and last but not least, we have Mr. Ben Raham. He says, life got in the way, missed the Primo app for all this rain. Looks like it grew 3 inches in the last 5 days. Yeah, that sounds like it'll happen. Hopefully this is good for roots. LOL, thanks for hosting. No problem, Ben. I mean, you're here now, so all you can do is work it back down to get it back down to the height cut that you want. So such is life. Así es la vida. Such is life, right? Let's see here. Next up, we have a question from Instagram. It says, hey, Ron, I got PGR down during the last one before all this rain. Couldn't be happier with the regulation. Yeah, awesome stuff. Yeah, I mean, my lawn grew from like 3/4 of an inch to like an inch. It went up to like an inch over like 4 days with no mowing with all that rainfall. So growth regulator absolutely works. It's great stuff. Great, great, great stuff. All right, we got a super chat from Catherine Turner. Thank you so much, Catherine. I really appreciate it.
Received.
She says, thank you for your help with my recent UPS issue. No worries. It was almost like getting a phone call from a celebrity. Can't wait to get my triad down on Saturday. No worries at all, Catherine. Always happy to help out. Definitely committed to you guys getting great results in your lawn. If it's not obvious, I actually do care that you guys have awesome, 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 incredible lawns. All right, so let's see if we have any other questions. I think we are getting close. Harper's Explorers says, going on vacation, the lawn is going to go through 100-degree days while I'm gone. Should I use growth regulator? Yep, I would. Backyard is 5/8. Kentucky Bluegrass is the front lawn. The fescue is at 1.25. I can get it mowed while I'm gone. It's up to you. I mean, would I still use growth regulator? Yes, because literally I start spraying growth reg the end of April, early May, and I spray it all the way through September. Like temperatures, like does not, I don't care what the temperatures can be, 80 degrees, can be 105 degrees. I'm still spraying Primo every 15 days. So to answer your question, yes, I would. Midnight Monoculture is up next. It says, new to PGR, going to try out some T-Nex this soon. Any tips or lessons learned from any experienced users? Kentucky KBG, Midnight, Philly suburbs. I mean, you can, as far as I personally have never sprayed Kentucky bluegrass, but I've sprayed a whole lot of growth regulator. So I can tell you that if it's your first time, if you can instead of spraying at the full rate, which I believe for Kentucky bluegrass is, I think it's 0.60. I've got a blog post to tell me that. I think that's right. Instead of spraying it at the full rate for the month, take whatever the monthly rate is and divide that in half and spray on the 1st and spray again on the 15th. So for Kentucky blue, yeah, so 0.60 is the monthly rate. So 0.30 is what you would spray every 2 weeks or every 15 days over 1,000 square feet. So Midnight Monoculture. If you go to the golf course lawn store, there's a blog post that talks all about plant growth regulator, how it can help your lawn get thicker and greener. The section you're going to want is starting here, because you're already convinced on PGR, you already know what you want to use. So if you go to how to avoid tip burn, it talks about how to fix it talks about the theory behind doing the split application, and then also to help out for your grass type, you have Kentucky bluegrass. These are the rates that you would spray twice per month every 15 days on the 1st and the 15th to get good regulation while reducing the chance of tip burn. And it's what I do and what I recommend for people to do on their lawn. So if you're interested in that, I will send you the link right here. So Midnight Monoculture, that blog post there, and that's actually going to take you right to that section. So that link will take you to the section in the blog post that talks about doing the split applications. All right, Ira and Joe says, what can I do about my sloped yard and soil washing away? So what I would say, Ira and Joe, is wherever the water's coming from, we got to do something to control the water. So if you have like a downspout, that's say water's coming off your roof, and that downspout drains or pushes the water straight into the front lawn, we got to do something about that. I used to have that same problem on my front lawn, and what I did is I took like this like the flex tubing, that black flex tubing you can get from Home Depot, and I connected that to the downspout that's right in front of the Japanese maple that's in like my front lawn there, right in front of the house, and I directed all that water over to the driveway, and that has made a night and day difference as far as like erosion problems in the front line. It literally went away overnight when I did that. And even after we do like really heavy rainfall, I still don't have like it's maybe 10% of the like washout problems I used to have before. It's practically non-existent. So what I would say is if you could figure out a way to manage whatever the water that's going on the front lawn better, because it's coming from somewhere. If it's coming from the house, if it's coming from the roof, like we got to direct that water and get it to go somewhere else other than down your front lawn. That's gonna help a lot. And then outside of that, that's gonna make a big difference. Honestly, that's the big trick. I mean, the way to help reduce soil washout is to reduce the amount of water that's running through that area of the front lawn. So that the only thing that's really that's the only water at that point that will be going on the lawn is whatever falls on it from the rain. And that is, you should, even if it's not 100%, you should see a very big improvement versus you're dealing with the water that's falling on the sloped lawn and also dealing with all the rainwater that's coming off the roof or the garage or barn or whatever you got nearby. Then that, and all that deluge just also running down the front lawn, like that is you're gonna have a hard time fixing that. Like there's no real answer other than you got to reduce the amount of water that's running through that part of the lawn, and fixing the drainage is what I found has been to be the only way. So, and it's worth it. It's worth doing the work to do that, because it will like literally overnight the problem will get like so much better, and you'll wonder why you waited so long to do it. Harper's Explorer says irrigation system also. Okay, that's good to have. That's good. So it makes it easier for your watering. Sounds good. I like it. All right, guys, gals, I think that's about it. So cue the closeout music. I really do appreciate you guys coming to hang out with me on a Thursday night. I know it's not our normal time together, but it really does mean a lot that you guys still carved out some time on a work night for a lot of you to still come hang out here until almost 11 o'clock Eastern to talk about lawn care. So really, really do appreciate it. Wish me all the best of luck for this weekend. And with all the rain done now, get out and have some fun in your lawn this weekend. Take care. I will see you guys next week.